D&D and Pathfinder supplement that brings Pokemon-style gameplay to your tabletop games is finally getting a massive update. Roll for Combat, the company that brought you Battlezoo, Eldamon, as well as countless other supplements for your tabletop role-playing games, has just announced Eldamon Legends, which is a fantastic Kickstarter that you can back now to bring all sorts of new Eldamon, elemental powers, and items to your worlds. If you're new here, Eldamon are elemental spirits that take on the form of creatures, which you and your party can make alliances and travel the world with. You can train them, evolve them into more powerful forms, and pit them in battles against other Eldamon. Or you yourself could become an elemental avatar and wield powers of darkness, or music, or fire. And the brand new Eldamon Legends Kickstarter brings you a bunch of new items that you and your party can equip, over 136 more Eldamon to populate your world with, and brand new legendary Eldamon to track down. Plus, the Kickstarter has all sorts of goodies available for its backers, including special dice, deluxe covers for the original Eldamon series, and more. So be sure to check out the Eldamon Legends Kickstarter today to begin harnessing the elements for yourself.
All right, we're live. Hey, look, we are live. I'm finally back. And so is Mark, but we lost Derek. Derek is away in La La Land. Actually, he's in
I don't think
Las
I don't
Vegas
think I've
lands.
ever been on a show with Derek ever. So maybe I'm Derek, maybe just with a mask.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there
yeah.
you go.
You could be. You're Derek. Should we call you Derek?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, make it
Discourse
happen.
just pulls off the Derek mask and reveals underneath.
Yeah.
That
But what
would-
is the mask and what is the face? You know, you never know.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyhow, why don't you do the intro, Mark? Because I'm tired. I'm
All right,
tired.
welcome to Roll for Combat Live, everyone. I'm Mark Seifter, Director of Game Design here at Roll for Combat. We've got Stephen Glicker, the publisher of Roll for Combat, and we have Discourse, who is here to talk about our new minis war game that is using the Eldamon STLs from yesterday's Kickstarter, Eldamon Legends, which
Mhm.
has gone kind of wild, and within the first 24 hours made over $100,000. It's got Eldamon, it's got new books, it's got STLs, like hundreds of tokens, cards, all sorts of goodies, and you can back that at eldamonlegends.com.
Mm-hmm. And also,
Nice.
at the same time, I just came back from GaryCon where there was some crazy stuff going on, which I'm going to talk about. And right now, right next to GaryCon is Adepticon, which I'm not at, but you are covering Discourse because that's like the World Series of Minis, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like the Mecca, I guess. It's really big. There's gonna be a ton of stuff there. I think there's gonna be like a new edition of Warhammer 40K being announced at it. So that's always gonna be big. But there's a ton of new stuff out, like the StarCraft miniatures game. I've been really looking forward to. Trench Crusade has had some big announcements. So yeah, Adepticon is huge. And I think it is mostly for war games, right? There's not a lot of RPG news that comes out of Adepticon.
No, there is definitely not. Definitely not any real RPG news. I'm not being rude. I'm looking through. So I was at a talk at Gamma, and I was going to bring up some numbers because I wanted to talk about minis. So I've actually been wanting to get into minis for a while, and one of the main reasons I wanted, well, not one of the main reasons, I just thought it seemed like it's getting pretty popular. But so last
seems
year,
fun.
according to ICV, in the year 2025, the miniatures market made $285 million, as opposed to the role-play game market, which is the other thing we're in. That made, hold on, I'm going to it, 190 million. So
Okay, so miniatures made a bit more.
a bit
Does
more.
that mean that they're taking over tabletop RPGs, though? Like, is it a struggle? Is it a contest? Does
Well-
one go up and the other go down? Is that how the trends go in the market, Stephen?
Could be. But with the rise, what just was mentioned is that with the rise of miniature printers and STLs and it becoming more and more popular and easier to do, especially with the newer printers where it's not there yet, but it's getting to the point that soon, probably within the next couple of years or so, people can just literally buy them, put them in their house and press a button and they're just made. Like you don't need to worry about setup. You don't have to worry about cutting them. You could just make minis. And that will change things a lot, to say the least. So
It's been getting crazier and crazier. So I remember like 5 years ago with 3D printing, and I first got one myself. At the time, I thought it was like so revolutionary, but it was quite crude now in hindsight because they've just been coming along leaps and bounds in terms of the technology and how easy they are to use. Especially, I would say FDM printing, which is kind of it's the type of printing you'd use for bigger pieces like terrain or like big castles and stuff like that. And it's a lot easier to print those. It's not much chemicals involved with the sort of traditional resin printing, which you use for little miniatures. You can kind of, there's a lot of chemicals and fumes that come off it. So you tend to need a bit of space or like good ventilation wherever you're doing it. For me, though, I think that the big, massive revolution is for smaller miniature sellers. So kind of like more artisan level where they can actually sculpt miniatures digitally and then sell them on their online stores. So they can do it more cost effectively than traditionally they would have needed to like use metal, which is very expensive to use for creating miniatures now, or cast resin. So you'd need like some factory out there somewhere to make them. And so we've seen like a whole ton of 3D print sellers out there for all sorts of like smaller, more artisanal games and more boutique experiences. So it's been a ton of fun. Personally, though, I think the game stores should be getting on this. I think we should be seeing more local game stores with 3D printers who could print on demand miniatures for people who've bought them elsewhere for a fee or something.
I imagine that will happen, is that someone or something will be like My Minis Factory or something, and you'll have some stores. Actually, those do exist online. Those do exist.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of them, but the real thing is like, because we were talking a lot about like technologies that have exploded, and the big one we were talking about at Gamma, and Derek and I were talking a lot about, was photography. Because photography used to be this thing where it was like you had to buy $1,000 or worth of equipment, and it was hard, and you bring it with you. Like, it was so much involved, even digital photography. And then the iPhone and every other phone, and not only are phones better than most multi-$1,000 SLRs, especially now because they've gotten so ridiculous, and they know that is pretty much more people buy phones as cameras than they use them as, like, the phone is like the 8th most used thing on it, or 10th. It's like cameras number 1, videos number 2, apps are number 3. It's like it's actually down. So they put so much money into that technology, and because of that, it has totally changed. Well, everything has changed. Look at YouTube and like what it takes to become a YouTuber and actually just have, quality. I can't believe everyone's doing something and it looks amazing. And it just takes that one revolutionary technology, and 3D printing is getting there. It's like it would started off as crude, but there's so much use for 3D printing. And forget about miniatures, like for car parts or for like engineers who need to, like, in the old days, if you didn't have the right screw, how many stories have I seen online? It's like, I made this in my mini printer because I couldn't find something else. And you see those all the time. And that's a big deal because right now there's a lot of proprietary, screws or mechanisms that you just can't get anywhere, and it's too hard to machine them. So you literally use a mini printer. Like, they use mini printers in outer space to replace parts. They use mini printers on the battlefield to replace parts. So that will become the revolution, is that you can now print anything you need anywhere, anytime. So the technology is only going to keep getting better. And like mini printing and what we're talking about would be 0.001% of what actually is used for that printing. So it's just a matter of time, which means then what happens with that is like, okay, well, then games will be coming from that. I mean, we already have many games, but eventually, is it just war games? Do we start putting out board games? It'll probably be new games invented that we're not even aware of.
Well, the nice thing about board games is that whenever you buy them, you're kind of buying the boxed experience. So I don't see as big a need for 3D printing for board games necessarily. Because often, there's a lot of sellers out there who are literally selling STLs. So they're the digital files that you'll get in order that you'll 3D print, at home. They're selling them kind of for agnostic experiences, right? So you could use them in any game that you want to use them. I find that for board games specifically, I like to use 3D printing for kind of component accessories, just like add-ons that make it a better, more fun experience to enjoy at the table. But there's a lot of war games now that literally are just there is no official miniatures for this game. have, use whatever you want. And for a lot of people, that will be buying miniatures digitally and then printing them at home. Or as you say, Stephen, going on to like Etsy. There's plenty of sellers on like Etsy and stuff who will sell printed miniatures that they've done on like at home themselves, and they're now selling them to other people.
Actually, someone did a chat here. One good use of AI is to convert 2D art to 3D printable assets. And he just did that with Fiend Folio. I have been seeing that more and more, and that will happen. And you already see that, like, they're turning things 2D into 3D. And, I mean, that might be, I was going to say, it's like be 10 years off. At this rate, it might be 2 years off. But it would be that you can take a single object and say, okay, turn it into a 3D STL miniature that I can print in full color. And it's like, fine, done. And then it just does it. And then you have it. And it's kind of ridiculous. But it's happening. It is actually happening. And we don't know, I think, how it's going to change everything, but it's going to change everything. We just don't know how yet. So, but
yeah, it's massive.
I will say, in the miniatures war game space, so the reason and you guys can ask us questions about this. Evan's here. Hey, Evan. Is that from Nimble? I just thought it would be fun to have a game where you can fight with your Eldamon, because you kind of do that in Pokemon. And yeah, you can do it with dice rolling, but I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same to just do it with Theater of the Mind. I think it's more fun to actually have a real miniatures game. And when I came to Discourse, I asked her to sort of come up with a very simple, fun, quick game where it's like 3-on-3 with the Eldamon can fight each other. So you have a team of 3 versus a team of 3. We also have, eventually, hopefully, it can be turned into team battle. So it's like PvE. So it's Eldamon versus like a monster or versus something else. So you're not necessarily fighting each other. You can actually.
And there's multiple objectives that are going to be available too. It's not all just like a death match race until every Eldamon is defeated. I mean, they don't die anyway, but there's ones with like King of the Hill or like hold certain areas, other special objectives you can play with that will change which kind of elements you want to tactically and strategically employ on your team, depending on the objectives. An Eldamon that you previously thought, in a drag out fight, maybe this isn't the one I want to bring, would be like, this one is going to be so useful to me right now.
And because some of the elements are good at like pushing people around and moving them and things. So that might be not one that you want to use to kill, or to knock out any other Eldamon, but to move them off objective points would be really handy. Or even to move your own friendly Eldamon who are carrying the enemy's flag and get them into your side of the board would be a ton of fun,
So I was also going to say is that we made the game board. Well, right now it's 16 by 16, and I did that. We did that on purpose so that you can use any of your existing maps, because maps are usually 30 by 24. So if you have, and it's in a square arena. So if you have a map, you literally just need any minis. You could use the Eldamon minis. You need 6-sided dice. You need the cards, and you need a map, and you can play the game. So you can play the game with whatever you have lying around.
So the goal these cards are not the cards that are on the Kickstarter right now. They're cards with this particular game's information, rules information on them.
Yeah, because the way we've done the Eldamon is a bit different. But I mean, from the very beginning, the goal of the game was to be as accessible as possible, so that as many people could play with it. So the 16 by 16 size board means that you can play it on a kitchen table. You can play kind of in any space that you have. So if you're worried about space, you can play it on this thing. But obviously, I think we could probably scale it up as well for bigger games as well if you want to do that. And of course, it is on a grid as well because I think that there's going to be a lot of RPG fans who love Eldamon, and so they want to try out a war game with it. And I think the grid will feel very at home there because it really does emulate the kind of traditional RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Eldamon, play style for sure.
So what they wanted to say is that rock, paper, scissors mechanic. Actually, Discourse pretty much designed 95% of the game, I would say, at this rate. And we had our feedback, but then obviously we're going to do a test this summer because I want everyone to try it out and see, try out different mechanics to make sure no one is too powerful. But I think we have all the common ready to go. We have a lot. We have a lot ready to go.
And we have several gameplay modes, the basic rules, and the common battle forms, not evolved. But that's plenty to start your battalions up for the game. And for people wondering about the rock, paper, scissors, essentially that you're rolling d6s to determine your results, and you normally have like a 50-50 chance for the d6 to be sort of like a hit that helps you, but against your elemental weaknesses, when your attack is not good against them, like when you're trying to use fire against water or earth, you actually need to, you only have a 1 in 3 chance because you need to roll a 5 or above. And if you are elementally strong against them, like water against fire or fire against wood, then you only need to roll a 3 or above. So it's actually a 2/3 chance. So you are twice as strong against the ones that are weak to you as you are against the ones that are resistant to you.
That's where assembling your team of Eldamon comes in a really big way, because you're going to get some limited information about your opponent's Eldamon when you're choosing, because you're going to be picking from a roster. So you're going to have more Eldamon available to you than you can actually bring with you into the arena. And when an Eldamon gets knocked out, you can sub in a new one instead. So you can react to how the battle is going on the board. You know, if your opponent's like gone really heavy on fire, you're like, okay, I'm bringing a bunch of my water Eldamon in on this one. You can sub in more, then your opponent can react to that as well. So there's a huge amount of kind of counterplay. And I think that's been like one of the core design principles of the game has been that it's super simple and easy to get, right? Like it's a very simple mechanics. You're rolling big pools of d6 and trying to count up your successes to get over certain numbers of successes to damage the enemy, you know, your target, your enemy Eldamon. And that's it. That's like literally, it's like 4+, you get a success. But the complicated, you know, the tactics and the depth really comes through whenever you're actually choosing what Eldamon to bring and how those different Eldamons synergize together, because each of the elements are all focused on kind of interacting with the game in slightly different ways. Like light-based Eldamon can kind of blind people, whereas Force Eldamon are great at pushing other Eldamon around, or Death Eldamon get rewarded or interact in strange ways with knocking out enemy Eldamon. So yeah, and finding the combinations there. I think that's what's going to be really exciting for me, is to see all the combinations that people can come up with and how they can interact and synergize with each other in just, you know, totally emergent ways that that I'm not anticipating. So it's a ton of. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people take to it.
As are we all. So I mean, you did your one game. You did your own game, which was what is it called again?
Little Big War.
Right,
Little Big War.
Little Big War. Little Big War.
The real-time strategy game in Wargame format.
And so how is this different than that in terms of?
Well, Little Big War is literally designed to be a real-time strategy game from like the 2000s and 90s. So you start the game and you just have your construction yard, and then you build up your base and you construct units, and you go out and try to attack the enemy, and you're trying to collect resources and bring them back to your base. And the more resources you gather, the more action points you get to spend each turn. So you can take more actions than your enemy, basically. That's why you want resources. And your goal is to blow up your opponent. So that is a war game that I always wanted to see made, but no one had ever made a real-time strategy game. I find that people get bogged down in technology trees and trying to emulate too much of the mechanics of like PC games, as opposed to just the feel and vibe. And like, you know, am I going to go out and harass my enemy by building loads of buggies and attacking all their harvesters, or am I going to build up my base and build loads of base defenses and try to get my end game nuclear missile that I can launch at my enemy and wipe out their entire base from my big citadel? So Little Big War is that kind of, and it's also a smaller scale. It's like 10 millimeter 15 millimeter in size, but miniatures agnostic, so you can use anything you want. So it's such a specific, unique experience. It's very different from Eldamon Arena.
So we don't have.
So someone asked if this is going to be part of the current Kickstarter. So the current Kickstarter is for Eldamon Legends, but we unlocked a crazy stretch goal that in under a day, just barely, that is going to add like the beta rules for this new game, and we think at the current rate that it's going to be available in July with your first PDF from the Kickstarter's Legends PDFs. So while obviously the final game is going to be its own beast, but if you want to get super early access to it and be part of playtesting like well before the game is actually even like a real full thing, then you should join in now. Back to Kickstarter, and you can become part of the playtest.
By the way, so I do want to show, we don't now have the cards ready, but we did a mock-up of one, the General Rango card. So this is actually not exactly what it looks like.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite Eldamon.
Here's your favorite. Okay.
Yeah,
General
this is a mock-up of what it might look like. It's
very rough. It's very, very, very rough. But you get an idea. So what is I put up the one that we did together. So what are we looking at here? Discourse.
So this is General Rango. He's just a little guy. So obviously he is an Eldamon. He is a okay, hold on, Mark. Now you get the pronunciation right for me here. He's a Fragarius.
Yeah, Fragarius.
Fragarius. Yes.
Fragarius.
Yeah. And you can see the little foot there means that he can move two squares. Basically, every single time you activate him. So how it works is I'll activate one Eldamon. I'll take my actions with him, and then I'll pass the play over to you, and you'll activate one Eldamon. So it's not like one of these games where I go with everything and you go with everything, and then you're waiting bored for me. No, we're gonna back and forth. So it's gonna be back and forth. So if I want to move him, he can move two squares. Very slow. He's got 2 armor, which is kind of low as well, honestly. What that means is whenever you're rolling your D6 attacking him, you're gonna need to get 2 successes to deal 1 damage to him, basically. So every 2 successes you roll, you're dealing 1 damage, or more damage if your attack does that. But most of the time, it's 1 damage. He's got a willpower of 2. That just kind of like psychic effects and sort of more ephemeral attacks. And then he's got 5 health. So if he takes 5 damage, he's out of there. He gets knocked out, which is bad, by the way. Your opponent will get victory points for doing that, although you'll get some trainer dice, which we might want to talk about at some stage. And then you can see he's resistant to certain elements of Eldamon, and he's weak to other certain types of Eldamon. Mm-hmm. You don't want to get attacked by people who you're weak to. You're happy to be attacked by people you resist. Now you can see the green thumb there. That's his passive. So that means it's always in play. This is like this kind of each Eldamon. We're going to have different characters of the Eldamon, right? This is General Rango. Specifically, this is General Rango. So he's got certain powers that are almost unique to General Rango, but the passive is shared by all the different Eldamon. So all of the Fragarius, they have a green thumb, which is this Eldamon can draw range and line of sight from terrain made by this Eldamon. So because he's a wood Eldamon, he makes terrain. He creates things on the board. He's a little builder. He loves to build stuff. Like specifically, General Rango loves boomberries. He loves them real good. You can see here, it costs him 1 energy to sow a boomberry. So he can create a boomberry, and he can do it up to 6 squares away. As you can see there with the little 6. He can do that up to 6 spaces. So he's slow, but he can shoot really far onto the board and create boomberries all over the place. The boomberries are really cool. They're terrain, so they interact with some other wood Eldamon, and also friendly Eldamon can eat them. So Eldamon can run up to these boomberries and eat them and heal up. So General Rango, kind of a peace-loving guy, right? Like he can heal up your buddies. You're going to want to get your buddies around them. However, he could also do a thing called explosive overripen, which means that any amount of boomberries that he's thrown out onto the board, he can explode them all, dealing a ton of damage in a big AoE all around the boomberries. So General Rango has a play style, right? You bring General Rango, he's like an artillery piece. He's like shooting boomberries all over the place that can help you and blow up your opponents. He's a ton of fun. I love General Rango. He's my favorite Eldamon. I love this little guy.
The lightning is like how many of your actions it costs. So think about what you can do with General Rango. Since he draws range and line of sight from his terrain, you could create a boomberry, then use that boomberry to daisy chain another boomberry, and then explode the second one from like really far from where you are. For example. There are lots of combos like this that you can do with these Eldamon.
It's gonna be such a mess. And I love it.
It's gonna be great.
I know. I wanted the playfield to be 10 by 10, And everyone was like, no, that would be insane. Everyone's going to be killing everyone. So I wanted small. So we're up to 16 by 16, but I wanted tight. I want everyone to be in
That in
everyone's
the middle.
face. Right in the, I want everyone to just fight.
At 16 by 16, that does happen. It does happen, especially if you do like 4 Eldamon. I find 4 Eldamon versus 4 can get really, really crazy.
I mean, just even look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's 16 by 16. Okay. Almost no matter where I am on the map, unless I'm at an extreme edge of the map, I can create a boomberry, then another boomberry, and then blow somebody up because I can do that at distance 12 within one turn. That's if I didn't have any time to set up boomberries in advance.
Well, if it was smaller map,
Eldamon.
we'd have less distance. So,
But then there are other wood Eldamon that can do things like consume terrain that's been created by your team and do other stuff with it. So Rango can support some of the other wood Eldamon. But then now you're bringing 2 wood Eldamon, and you might be a bit, your enemy can exploit that, and they can start
could
to
use
bring
fire or
Eldamon.
ice
Yeah.
to burn you and your terrain down into smithereens.
So, by the way, everyone keeps saying that the icons are too small for resist and weak. So I showed this to Derek, and Derek said the very first thing, icons are too small. I'm like, I know.
The icons are small, but we know it's a mock-up.
I made this mock-up. Discourse made the mock-up, and then I made this mock-up in 30 minutes, okay?
Look, I'm proud that we didn't get
30 minutes.
I'm proud we didn't get 10 comments from Derek and everyone in chat that terrain is misspelled 3 out of 4 times. Like, it's a mock-up. Right?
It's a mock-up. Oh, you're right. I just noticed that. Terrain. Yeah. Well, it's in the world of Eldamon.
It was right one of the times.
No. It's made out of rain, so it's not misspelled.
Oh, it's actually rain made out of tar.
Yes.
Like tar is falling from the sky onto the field.
That's right. We have from Mark. He wrote, "More ways to play Eldamon more good." Well, on top of that, we have. Oh, I got to get that out. We have the play test for the card game. So we have in the works. We have Eldamon. We have Eldamon, the TTRPG. We have Eldamon the card game.
Eldamon Battles is the
Eldamon
card
Battles.
game.
Eldamon
Arena is this new minis game.
And then we're looking at Eldamon one-page rules.
And Eldamon Army for one-page rules.
Right,
to be clear,
Eldamon
that's not
armies.
its own separate game. That is an army for an existing game,
Eldamon
which is cool
armies.
enough.
And maybe Eldamon board game. Like, we're doing it all, man. All in. Everyone's going to be doing Eldamon, whether you like it or not. So we'll say we sold out of Eldamon at GaryCon on the second day, early the second day, which I couldn't believe. I know.
And you benchmarked that based on like
who knew
sales at other conventions.
No, I didn't bring that many.
Some multipliers because GaryCon's smaller, right?
No, I brought more, but I didn't bring that many. Because I mean, it's GaryCon, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're all grognards. They're all like, like who would want like fluffy creatures?" But there was a lot of kids there, and a lot of grognards wanted to teach their kids, so it was sold out immediately. And I was like, "Damn, man, should have brought more." Actually, we sold out of a lot of things at GaryCon. We sold out of all of our Pathfinder stuff because I didn't bring that much.
No,
that was completely
did you assume
sold
that
out.
there would be more 5e people at GaryCon?
Yes, there's nothing except Anyhow. But no, everywhere we go, Eldamon's always our bestseller at any convention. So I also wanted
We've had Dragons beat it, I think, once, but Eldamon does really well.
I have the numbers. Eldamon is like it's not even close.
I mean, look at the little guys. They're so cute. How could they not sell out every time? Like, they're awesome.
Well, I also wanted something
guy.
we could run at like conventions. Like we can run little tournaments. And so anyhow, that's also why in the Kickstarter that
Techno Monkey said in the chat that they've seen products for purchase that look worse than the mock-up. That's just how impressive Steven is at doing these kind of layouts, is that this is just what he slaps together. And like, I agree with people, it could use larger icons, etc. But it looks really great considering that it's just like let's just do something we can show people.
Well, actually, I don't take credit. Discourse did the original layout, and Discourse's layout looked pretty good. A little rough, but pretty good.
Yeah, a little rough.
A little rough, but pretty good. I got the gist. I saw it. I was like, I got the gist, and then I prettied it up and used it. But yeah, I mean, I literally, she was on the line with me. I was like, kept sending her new ones. I'm like, how's this look? How's this look? And then I was like, wait, I got it. And now it looks like that. And I was like, okay, we got it. It looks pretty good. So But
The
also we're going to
strawberry
make.
guy is so OP according to chat.
Yeah,
By the way-
already.
By the way,
He is.
Fragarios is named for Fragaria, which is like the wild strawberry.
Mm.
So if I'm mispronouncing that, then my bad. It is not named for Frogrock the Answerer, the sword of Menon MacLear. So I've had someone who thought it might have been named for that. And it's like, you might notice by the lack of any Menon MacLear like features, it's not like an ocean god type thing, or it doesn't like answer people by like retaliating or anything. It is just named for like the scientific name for wild strawberries.
So yeah, Fed Up Guy said, yeah, that strawberry guy is so OP. The goal is to make all of them OP, and therefore none of them are OP. You know?
Like
But
that
everyone
race game
is
that
super.
Steven likes.
Yeah.
No one is super.
Nope. Yes. Yeah.
What is the race game that you like where everything's OP, Steven?
What? The what game?
Some kind of weird race board game where there's a giant baby and everything's OP. And therefore it's
Description.
balanced.
Magical. Oh shit, you got me. It's right. It's actually.
I got
it's,
you on your own Steven story, but you've talked about it multiple times.
Shut up. I have it right
someone
here.
in chat said Magical Athlete.
Magical athlete.
There you
Yes.
go. That's got a similar vibe where everyone has
This
a
one.
weird game-breaking power,
This
and
one.
therefore it's balanced question mark because everybody's got a weird
Well, that's
game-breaking power.
yeah. That comes from that's from Cosmic Encounter. I mean, that's not. Well, you know what? The most
Cosmic
popular.
Encounter, though, just some of the powers were much more game-breaking
Well,
than others.
also that was well, they rebalanced it, and that's what this was. This was the original was bad, and then this was rebalanced. But I've been playing a lot of like Rude and Oath and Arcs because those are all. So Rude is one of the most popular games in the world right now, and continues to be, and that's because it's isometric, not isometric, asymmetric, game, and it works really well because it's asymmetric, so no one can actually, like there's always a counter to something, and you're not strong in everything, you're weak to something, so it does really, really well. Now, obviously, it's hard to get that right, which is why you do a test. So hopefully, we test this and everything will
and
go
maybe
well.
General Rango will turn out to be OP in the test. But
Well,
come
then
on,
we
guys,
could
you
just-
haven't seen any of the other ones yet
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's good.
About they're waiting for Eldamon 40K. What do you think that would be like, Discourse?
A lot of bolter guns, I think, on a lot of a lot of
It'll
little
be
cute
the-
guys.
It's the Pal World to
That
Eldamon
actually
Pokemon,
is
right?
Power World. That
It's
actually
just
is Power World.
in the grim, dark future of Eldamon.
You know what? So I've been talking to like the one-page rule guys, and FYI, that worked out well because Param, who used to run
No Direction.
No Direction, is a huge Pathfinder guy. I've known him for 10 years, and now he's one of the people in charge of one-page rules. His booth was across from mine at Gamma, and then he and I have been chatting about adding Eldamon to one page. We're going to make an army, assuming I think we'll hit that goal.
I think
And
we're gonna hit that.
I think we're going to hit that goal. But
It would be wild and
we'll
outrageous
hit it. We'll hit
if
it.
we did not hit that goal, given that where we are in
But
comparison to it.
It's going to be. I've also been talking to my Mini Factory and others that there's a lot of armies of like 40K and skeletons, and there's a lot of those armies, but there's very few animal armies, and everyone loves animals. And also, how embarrassing it is for you to lose. you have your big 40K bolt gun space marines that are taken out by squirrels and strawberries.
Yeah,
and
imagine
it's just
you have like your army of like giants, or because it's for the fantasy one, and you've got like your giants, or you've got like
ogres and orcs and paladins.
Paladin
Yeah.
brothers,
Giant
your
Yeah.
space marines.
Yeah.
and then a little squirrel comes up, and then like this weird little snail with the strawberry on his back just blows up your entire army formation.
I know.
It'd be so great. Think about how mad that the person with the orc berserkers might get after that happened. They'd be like, what is going on? That strawberry guy really was OP. That person from the chat was right.
Well, that's sort of the whole point. Is like it's so silly, but I think right now, I think silly's about to get very popular in this world because it seems to be getting. I'm seeing that more and more, like with One Piece and other properties that are just fun are actually getting very, very popular. People have enough grimdark, I think.
I think zany and cozy sometimes get popular when people have enough grimdark in the world at large around them.
Sometimes it's nice to take a break, you know, for sure.
Yeah, cozy's been very popular right now. So, what are we going to say, Discourse?
Well, I was going to say that Mark says Squirrel Ash is my favorite. Then Squirrel Ash is, we've got the rules for Squirrel Ash for specifically Whisker, the Squirrel Ash. Because one of the things we did was we've named all the Eldamon. So they're all going to be specific variations of that type of Eldamon, which means in future there might be more variety of the same type. But
we're not trying to say that every Squirrel Ash ever known has exactly this power set. But like for instance, there is a Squirrel Ash named Ember, who is the official Squirrel Ash, who is like officially the first Eldamon ever befriended by our iconic Eldamon trainer, Fraxi. And so like that is a particular Squirrel Ash. And then Whisker is a Squirrel Ash from this game. And like maybe later we would do Ember, the special Squirrel Ash that was the official iconic Squirrel Ash. And Ember might have different moves. But like Discourse said, there's one passive that's going to be the same between Ember and Whisker and any other Squirrel Ash that we do.
Yeah, because that kind of defines a little bit of their play style, right? Because who we have right now is Whisker, and what they're really great at is running through other Eldamon, which is kind of unique to them with their Trailblaze passive. Allows them to run through other Eldamon and deal damage to them when they do so, and then do big AoEs and get bonuses if they have already ran through one of the Eldamon previously in the turn. So they're very much about moving around the board through enemies and then trying to burn them all, but then every single Squirrel Ash gets additional targets for their AoEs. Like AoEs are always a little bit bigger. So maybe a future Squirrel Ash might do, like a big massive AoE that's ranged. But right now the one we have is Fan of Flames. So it's been a lot of fun kind of designing it as well, because the Eldamon are all so unique. They're all so individual. They've got such a huge variety of powers, and they all interact with each other in different ways. So it's been a ton of fun to work on.
And so I just wanted to mention, so in the Kickstarter now, we have an STL tier, but we have one of the top tiers, one of the tiers that you get the minis, not the minis, you get the cardboard tokens. And that's actually one of the reasons I also did the cardboard tokens. Because it will, not everyone will have access to an STL printer. Not everyone's going to have access to getting minis. We're looking into getting minis made as well, but it's expensive. I mean, it just is like 13 minis can easily cost $60, but we're going to be printing out all 323 Eldamon as cardboard mini tokens. So you'll have every single one, and you can use the cardboard tokens too. So you'll be able to
be
use
clear about what these tokens are. Some people have asked me. They're what is sometimes known as pawns. They're pawn tokens that you then slot them into a plastic standee and use them in place of miniatures. And I love pawns because they're just a much more cost-effective way than getting a bunch of miniatures to get a massive number of options for yourself.
Yeah, they're also cheaper. And they're less.
That's why they're cost effective, Stephen.
Well, I'm going to say. I meant to say, and they take up less space.
You're right. They're much easier to store if you don't have like a dedicated mini shelf or something, or like those special cases with the little like spots to put each mini in.
Yeah, they're easier to store. Actually, I haven't gone into this, but the box, so that Eldamon Extras box is going to have drawers in it, so you can put everything in it, and it's going to store all your cards. It's going to store the dice, and it'll store all the minis. And we're actually making it with like drawer sets. Oh, it's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really neat.
As I get older, I appreciate that more and more, like storage options. I get so excited by it now.
I have to get Evan's the one. Evan from
Evan had the idea.
He had the idea first,
which is that if you put it with the way it's stored, it just helps, and it can help with shipping as well.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's not just getting older that makes you appreciate it more. All you have to do all you have to do, you can be young. Just buy an attempt to play Gloomhaven with its default storage options. Just do that. Do that a few times. And suddenly you'll become someone who understands and appreciates different storage options. You'll Google online and you'll see, oh wait, there's this other thing I can do. And then you'll broaden your horizons.
I bought a wooden insert set for that immediately. As soon as within like the first game, I found one. Problem is,
I bought something a little cheaper than that, but one of the recommended solutions. Yeah.
Well, when
I just stopped playing.
Oh yeah. Probably it's a little long. It's a little too long. Like I think it's a good game and I like it. I think it's a game that's overstays its welcome a little too much because we were like up to our 50th play and we're like halfway through and well, I know the day we stopped because we officially saw every monster in the game. And once we saw every monster, I felt like we almost completed it in a way because we're like, you know what? Because then after that, you just see variants. I was like, I've seen them all. So we saw every monster. Not the bosses, but we saw them all. We're like, yeah, we get it. and we were like, it sort of, I don't know. It sort of overstated.
Linda and I almost completed everything. We also stopped in the middle, but it was actually for storage-related reasons.
Oh my God.
It was, yes, the death knell of our game when we stopped with like 3 things to go was one of our friends from Paizo was like, oh yeah, my wife and I are going to come over. We can play Gloomhaven with you. And I was like, Linda, are you sure? Because we're going to have to like redo all these things. And she's like, yeah, I'll get it set up so we can start with them. And then I've written down what we had so we can go back to that. And not only did they not come, but also, it was such a pain in the butt to try to get back to the state that we had been in before that we just never did it.
Well, I had to carry
to this day.
Yeah, when I did it, I was my friends. We were playing it. I was an hour away, and their apartment wasn't big enough for the game, so we had to play in a common area in their apartment building. So I had to bring it every time, set it up every time. I had a whole system. Yeah, it was brutal.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was a lot of work.
Rough.
It was rough.
I just didn't have a table for a couple of months. You know?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to us.
Yeah.
Waters Leaf is wondering if the Eldamon Arena will let them use their fancy dice.
Yeah.
Any D6s you want.
Any
it's not
D6s.
like some weird bespoke D6 with like symbols to let you know whether it hit someone you were weak or strong against. It's just use your D6s. You need a 4 normally, or a 5 for if you're not effective against them, or a 3 if you are very effective against them.
You can use any minis, any board. Just find a board, that is 16 by 16 from any map and any dice, and that's it. I mean, that's literally all you need. I mean, the cards you will have to print out or make or buy. But we'll
give them to you so that you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're still figuring it out.
But we want it to be as accessible as possible so that everyone can start playing.
And if anyone knows any TTS programmers out there, Tabletop Simulator, I definitely want to make a tabletop simulation version as well.
I genuinely would like that for multiple things because someone told me when we were talking about the card game playtest, they pointed out, they were like, well, I don't know how many people like live right by me who I can print out this card game playtest and play with, but if you would have some way to have like a really basic tabletop simulator version, we can playtest with other playtesters online.
Yeah,
and they are right about that. I think we want to, like, for the arena and especially for the card game, which is like a pretty intense one-on-one scenario. I mean, you might have multiple Eldamon, but it's like a duel. We need to have like really extensive play testing to make sure that everything works together.
Eventually. So what's going on in the world of Adepticon, if anything? Discourse, anything interesting going on?
I'm not sure if there's been any announcements today. I do know there's going to be a lot of big properties, though.
When does it start? Is it this weekend? Or I thought it started already.
It's tonight. It's tonight, I believe, at some stage. I don't know. It's all American time, so I'm just like, I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be some stuff that's happened, and it'll be all good. So I'm gonna stream tomorrow about it.
Time, is that what we're called? American time.
Yankee? No. That's the scientific name. The real name for it is Yankee Doodle time. So
Yankee Doodle time. I like that. I like that.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I am a Yankee Doodle dandy, so.
Of course you are. If you ever have the chance to be a Yankee Doodle dandy, you take it. So yes. There's going to be loads of stuff. Now, there's been some really big rumors actually about, I don't know if you guys know Age of Sigmar. It's kind of the fantasy Warhammer game that is not the old world. It's not Total War, Warhammer Fantasy. It's the kind of modern fantasy game. There's been really big rumors right now that apparently there's going to be some massive shift in the setting. So as it stands right now, it's really crazy in its cosmology. Like as a fantasy setting, it's about all these different realms. They're all different elements, and they all are all over the space in space, and all the different factions live on the different realms, and they travel between realms and fight each other. It's really big. It's very cosmic. Apparently, according to some leakers, the Adepticon Games Workshop are going to be announcing that the next edition of Age of Sigmar, they're smashing all those worlds together to create one coherent world, kind of like old school Warhammer fantasy, the way it used to be. And alongside that, they're going to be doing a big, massive shift around all the different factions. They're going to be bringing back some of the more traditional factions. They're going to be maybe retiring some of the kind of less coherent factions. I don't know how much stock I put in it. The leaker who allegedly leaked it was pretty reliable actually before, but then they started deleting all their posts after this one. So some people speculate that they got caught in a fake leak.
Or they may have gotten caught in a true leak.
They just got caught in a true leak and got yelled at
by lawyers, right? We
don't
know.
This is what happens.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying don't trust it and don't in either direction until we see what's out.
I'm ready for anything. I think it would be a little bit of a pity though. I think that Age of Sigmar right now has a pretty strong identity because, look, I used to be one of those people who kind of did not like Age of Sigmar because I missed Warhammer Fantasy so much, right? Warhammer Fantasy, the old school version with Empire and goblins and orcs. It was very traditional, but it had a lot of really cool elements to it, a lot of depth. It was one of those fantasy settings that to me was a fantasy setting written by people who loved history. So it felt very historical, very grounded in a lot of ways, even when it was being fantastical. Whereas Age of Sigmar was basically just a heavy metal album brought to life. And that was it, right? It was just everywhere and going crazy. And the old school Warhammer Fantasy kind of died so that Age of Sigmar could live. They killed Warhammer Fantasy, brought out Age of Sigmar. And so I always kind of, had a bit of a chip on my shoulder for that. But now that Warhammer Fantasy is back with the old world, I think live and let live. Like, I hope Age of Sigmar does well. I wish it well. And in fact, actually, it's probably one of Games Workshop's best games that they do. So I hope they don't change too much with it. So I think it works fine at the minute. The setting is kind of fun. So I'm watching this one with a lot of interest. It's very curious.
So, by the way, Mark T said the all-in deluxe box is very reasonable compared to a ton of Kickstarters. So, there's something else is that like I was very careful, and we do this all the time. I only put in things that I think you can use because like I can put in shot glass minis, but who the hell wants those? I can put in, there's so many things you can put into these. I mean, the dice you'll be able to use, everyone loves dice, so fine. I'm going to put in dice.
Even has very strict criteria. If he doesn't want to use it himself in his own games, then he's not going to just add it in there.
Pretty much.
Well, it needs to be something that's useful enough that Steven would be happy to see it.
Well, a lot of bad dragon stuff in here, Steven. What's going on with your games?
What do you mean? Bad dragons? What's that mean? But we purposely, the screen, I have so many screens, but then people were telling me they like to have the screens with all the stats on them, so they put them down and use them in a game. And I was like, no, that's a good idea. And I would use that. So I was like, all right, we can do a screen.
Honestly,
and we're making a smaller screen. Yeah, I don't even use GM screens. No, ever. I don't either. But it would be like
still get it just like because it looks gorgeous and it has all the tables that I'm always turning to for Eldamon.
Right. You would have all the tables in one location, so you have everything that you need. And then they said a lot of people just take this and put it in front of them. as a
Yeah,
reference.
I might just do
So,
that, even if it's not blocking me off, just in front of
They just
me,
put it on
so
the
everybody
table.
can see it or whatever.
Yeah.
With the it looks cool. The art is cool. It has the tables. I don't have to flip my Eldamon book to the tables. It seems good to me.
Now the Elder decks.
Plus,
Oh yeah.
you might wanna run your game the way Gygax did and hide from your players, and speak like a disembodied voice.
I used to do
behind
that.
The little...
I used to do that.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Attention to the man behind the
Well,
screen.
you had
the great
to.
Steven has spoken.
Well, no, because all the when I was a kid and until very recently, all the DM screens were like this big. So they were so tall that you can't. I'm short, so I can't see over them. I'd have to stand up the whole time, and so I would be the voice. Now Gary Gygax was enormous. I was hanging out with his son Luke. His son Luke is like 6'5", and he's enormous. Oh yeah, he's gigantic. So all these people are very tall. So for him, think about how big that screen was for him to be behind it. So yeah, I was behind. I'd be behind the screen because we'd play in person. And that's how we used to do, and you'd hide the rolls and everything. And then over the years, I don't play with anything. I don't play with any screen. Even when I'm in person, I usually just have like a clipboard or something just to hold the book and I print everything out, and then I just write on pieces of paper, and then I literally, as I'm done with things, I just throw the paper out, so I don't need it anymore. So wasteful or efficient, depending how you look at it. So
I stand because I'm the same as you, Steve. I can't see over the little board, so I just stand up. Yeah,
I do stand up a fair amount, but I mostly sit. I just got rid of the screen. That was really the easiest thing. Got rid of the screen, and I just literally have, or I have a short screen. And the only reason I have a short screen is that sometimes I like to have like 4 pieces of paper in front of me of like notes for the adventure, and I don't want people to see them. I don't care about the rolls, but I just do that anyhow.
Yeah.
But we have the minis, the cardboard cutouts, because a million people have been asking us for them. And a lot of people have. And I also thought, okay, now we actually have a use for them because we can use them in the card game and the arena game and the TTRPG. So now there's lots of use for them. So it's not going to be just...
no, yeah, I guess that's all of them. I was thinking that there's that other game. I was like, but wait, I guess you can't use... you can't use pawns if you're doing one-page rolls.
Well,
no, you could, right?
You
as long as the base size is the correct size. Yeah, as long as the base size is the correct size.
So there you go. So you could use it even for one. So I was right to say ads. You could use it for one-page rules too. Now, if you're wondering why the card game can use pawns, it's because when I initially designed the card game, I was trying to do it with no conception of space, where you just play your cards. But I quickly determined that there are enough area effect things in Eldamon, and specifically because of the game design goal that all of the powers that are in your Eldamon book need to be powers that are on these cards in a 1-to-1. There needed to be area effects and there needed to be movement. And I found a way to fake movement, but not area effects. And the movement thing was complicated. So we're just having small zones that you can move around in. And those standees will be super helpful for you to tell where you are.
Yeah. And but the piece de resistance is the Eldadex cards. I think I did a pretty good job with those because
Eldadex cards are great. Now, what I and several people in the comments want is power cards too.
Oh yeah, I printed them out, but man, they're expensive because it's like 600 cards.
It's fine, Steven. I will make do with the Eldamon Battles cards to be my power cards because while they don't have the correct text, while they do not have any of the correct text of the powers written on them, but what they do have is the name of the power, and I can still use them for
never say never
them or discarding them and drawing them again. That's enough.
Never say never. I mean,
that's enough.
But the problem
other tricky thing about the power cards that you didn't even mention, but that it makes it another
I got to
even
do two.
more expensive is that
you
need the Pathfinder and the 5e1s to be separate
for
the power cards.
No, I would just print them on each side. I'd print 5e on one side and Pathfinder on the other. So that way you have one on each side. So you double use the cards.
What about the GURPS one?
The GURPS are on the edge. They're on the edge. They're
very, very small
monofilament. Monofilament.
Yeah.
So that would work, Mark, if I printed 5e on one side and Pathfinder on the other. So you would just have each. So Or
yeah,
no?
you wouldn't be able to turn them upside down at that point, but
Nope.
it would save a lot on number of cards. I think that would make it more useful.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Well, I can't print out 1,200 cards. I'm sorry. It would cost an absolute fortune for that, and it's just too much work. So, anyhow, that's the way I would do it. I thought it through. I have quotes. I mean, I can still do it. I didn't say no.
He
I
has
just
the
said,
technology.
I just said maybe. It's a maybe because you got to print 500.
You got to buy him
of
dinner
them.
first.
You have to print 500 of them, and that's the bare. And that really, you want to print 1,000. You don't want to print less than 1,000 of anything. And
I'll tell you what, everyone, if you're watching this, if you can get 500 people to back either the all-in deluxe bundle or the Legends only deluxe bundle, I will beg Steven to print out these other cards.
Okay, if you get 500 people,
I don't think that's possible right now because we have 25 backers of one, and
that's it.
We have 25 of the all-in and 33, so we have a total of
58. God, that's it.
On the really big backers right now.
No.
That is one of our big ones is the Legend Special Edition tier, which gets the cards, and then I think they're adding some of the things with add-ons. Also, the Legends hardcover tier. Those are where people are at these days. But if we can get that number up to 500, I will beg until we can see if we can get Steven to do the power cards. If not, then we'll try to do the power cards next time.
Oh my God, I thought we had a lot more than that. That's actually kind of pathetic.
So if you thought that it would take that to get the amount of money that we have with the number of backers you have, then you must be impressed by how many of the overall backers actually back the special edition tier.
I guess so, because that's only 58 people, and we got a while to go. So I thought
it's a lot of people who already like a few hundred. The special edition tier, so we have a ton of the Eldadex cards that are coming out. Because remember, the Eldadex cards are in that tier as well, which has 200 some. So we've got I believe we have close to 500 people already who are backing a tier that gets the cards.
All right. Yeah, well,
more than 500.
We need more than that. I'll tell you that right now. We're gonna need way more.
Well,
than
we already have more than 500. So if we only even double what we have now by the end, then we'll have over 1,000 backing a tier with the cards.
No, but I meant the all-in or the top tiers. I thought we had a lot more. I didn't realize that's all we had was 58 people. So a little depressing.
And as people said in the chat of the video, that they were very impressed by the price and the things in it being more reasonable than the all-ins that they've seen before. So hopefully that will bring more people in. I mean, this is more people than we've usually had do our big pledges on other Kickstarters by a noticeable amount, but that's because those other ones were like design something with us, and this gives you more goodies. And I think you always get more people with more goodies than with like a design experience.
Well, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out one way or the other. Otherwise, we're gonna have a whole bunch of these boxes lying around. So. Send them all to Discourse. You can have a whole bunch just sitting in her house.
Hell yeah. I fucking love Eldamon, dude. I'll take them, yeah.
By the way,
the main problem is that there's not a good storage solution for the pawns if you don't get the add-on box. Well, because otherwise you could be like, buy a second set of pawns in case you have two.
Well, she gets the add-on box, and the add-on box just has everything in it. So
yeah.
It's everything you need. So you just open that up and voila, you're all set. Actually, we did send you the minis Discourse, so you should get those semi soon.
Oh yes, that's awesome. Yeah, because I've been play testing.
I gave you 2 sets of 13 minis. Some of them have to be assembled, but I figured you would be okay with that.
Yeah, I'll be good.
I said that because they printed them separate, and I was like, I think she can handle it. It's literally the base and the mini, and I'm like, I think she can glue them together.
I'm good.
Well, we actually print them. We print them merged almost always because not everyone likes that. Well, we give the STLs, we give all the different types, so you can print them however you want. But when we send them out as minis, which we've done, they're one mini, so we don't do it. Anyhow, you should get those. I don't know. Let me see where they're at. You'll either get it any day now or in 3 months because you live in Ireland, which is too far away.
Yeah, that's been like the one issue, right? Like there's a big ocean between us, I guess. So it's been hard to coordinate stuff. But
Why do you live so far away?
I know, right? Because America gets all the fun conventions and stuff like Adepticon and things. So it's been really. I think we get AirCon. That's what we get.
I think it's the ocean's fault, really.
Yeah, we have like one convention over here, and I think it takes place in someone's bedroom. So that's kind of us. That's all we get.
Really? Is it your bedroom?
Well, my bedroom is far too messy to be a convention.
Games Done Quick that's how Games Done Quick started. It was in someone's house, the very first one. So you never know. Well, people do talk about what's the one over there? UK Expo. They talk about that a lot.
UK Games Expo. Yeah, that's a big one.
I will be there this year as well. I'm really looking forward to it. You guys should come over for UKG.
It's hard to get to. Yeah, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
I'm trying to remember now.
There's no direct flights. Yeah, there's no direct flights to Birmingham.
You could stop off at Ireland first, hang out, and then take a little connecting flight.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem.
Hey, we got plenty of interesting stuff. We got fields. We got hills.
When is UK Expo
snow.
though? It's like
there are castles in some of those fields.
There are castles. You could play D&D in a castle, Stephen.
Yeah, I know lots of people who do that.
Yeah, but you have to sneak in. You're bored though, because I'm not cleared it with anybody.
Game Expo. Let's see where UK Game. When is the UK Game Expo?
It is in May, I believe, early May.
29th to the 31st. I will be on vacation, so I cannot go this year.
Oh, la-di-da. This guy gets to go on vacation, everybody. Well,
yeah, well, it's a one I've
dream.
I go on a lot of vacations. I planned this one for years, so this one's not going anywhere. Well, the plan is maybe next year. So here's the deal. We actually finally have a UK distributor. So, and one of the main things with having a UK distributor is we send over all of our product there, and then he'll bring it to UK Game Expo for me. He'll bring over the booth and everything. So once you send it there, they stay there. And then if you want to go to any conventions, because he goes to UK Game, he goes to Essen and all those.
Will he run it at UK Games Expo?
If we wanted to, Essen? yeah. They'll do it, or they'll find people. Yeah. So, but
could be a little bit of Eldamon Arena,
or better yet, I'll hire Discourse and she can run at our booth.
Who better to run Eldamon Arena, right?
Yeah. I actually, I mean, that's actually, I would want to find people local to help, because it's going to be a lot easier than flying them overseas.
So if you're in Europe, having this UK distributor is going to be very good for you.
Well, yeah, we're setting that up. That's how other people are doing it.
It's going to help you in your shipping situation.
Yeah, it helps in well, now it got to the point that we needed it because it was getting too much. But I was asking the Pirate Borg guys. So Pirate Borg has a ship. They actually have a 20 by 20 physical ship of wood that was made, and this thing is like 30 feet tall. And when you're like, oh, come on, I'm like, you think of the most impressive booth you've ever seen, and this blows that away. It's ridiculous how nice this booth is.
And then you ask, how do you even get that to the UK? Do you sail it there? And the answer is Ship of Theseus.
Well, it is Ship of Theseus.
It's not the same ship.
Well, no, this is what happened. So we were at GaryCon, and they were setting up. Now they have a 10 by 10 version too. So they were setting up the 10. Sorry, they have a 10 by 20 version and 20 by 20. The 20 by 20 version is a full actual ship. The 10 by 20 is just the sail and planks, and they have screens. They have all these digital screens. It is insane. Okay, it looks like something from Disney World. It is, and they just built it themselves. It is so impressive. And of course, their sales were ridiculous. How nice their booth was. And I was like, we set up our booth. Derek and I were done in an hour, and then I saw the guys at Lithron, and they're like, I'm like, what are you guys up to? He's like, well, we're up to hour 12, and we're still not done. And I was like, yeah, that's the problem with having a cool booth. And I was like, and we're going to be there all night. I mean, it probably took them 20 hours to set up that booth, because it's all handmade wood, and it weighs massive, multiple tons. But they're going to UK Game Expo. I'm like, how the hell are you going to UK Game Expo? Your booth weighs like 3 tons. And they built another ship, and they sent it to the UK. And I was like, come on. Come on. It's like
okay.
it's like that movie Contact. It's like, why build one when you could build two at twice the price?
Look, the answer to the riddle of how something gets somewhere is always that they built it again. Like
Right.
at MIT, when there was a hack where one of the professor's cars was moved onto the roof of a building that was like small building. How did
I
you
saw
drive it
that.
up there? They disassembled the entire car
Yeah.
and then rebuilt it on the roof. That's how they did it.
Well,
That's the trick.
Well, they're like, oh, we built two. I was like, oh. It's like it was so much work just to build one. How did you guys like? Aren't you guys making games? I will have to say their booth. I mean, I've seen impressive booths, but theirs is. I have to up my game, my friend. I was
It's
like, damn.
level, Steven.
Well, that
Okay.
was yeah, but no one has a booth like that. No one. I mean, but the amount of work it's required to set that thing up is.
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
check that out then, because I'm going to UKG this year, so I'm gonna check out that.
You'll see it. There's pictures
Okay.
online if you
Yeah.
look up Pirate Borg. And then they have one of their guys dressed up like a pirate on the like way up. He's hanging out like 10 feet up in the air, calling everyone out like "Arr!" and he's never breaks character.
They must do business at conventions, because there's no way you could not
it was
leave
insane.
that place with, with a copy of their game.
They were at Gary Con. I saw people with like this many books. Like they just took one of everything and just had it up to their chin. I was like, oh god, you guys are just raking it in. Well,
Earned.
that's how you do it.
They earned that. They earned it.
They earned it. Well,
Yeah, are.
I will say I was looking at something for us, Mark. How about that?
Oh,
Yes, I was looking at statues of like
I mean, those are cool.
squirrel ash, like big ones, like this big, like the resin statues you see at like restaurants and parks.
Yeah,
and
I think
stuff.
that would draw people's attention
Mhm.
pretty well compared to like the little cloth things with the squirrel ash on them.
Yeah, no, this would be like a 3D model.
Yeah, this would be a much more
Mhm.
of a draw, and I think people would want to get like a picture with squirrel ash or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, well, we have to get booths. That's the problem, and that's kind of
Yeah,
the
step
issue.
one, get the booth.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't, well,
Have you worked that out for Gen Con, Steven?
I'm working on it. I'm working
Okay.
on it. I'm almost there. The problem is it's we really needed. So we had a 10 by 20 at GaryCon, and it was so nice. That's why Derek and I were like, look at the space. We're like breathing because our booths are very packed. A 10 by 10, we can't fit everything, and 10 by 20, we fit everything easily. And
And in 10 by 20, there was place for people to come in and browse.
yeah, there was.
That might explain why so many people were
Nah.
able to like come there and Gary
people didn't
Con.
want to come in. I was like, come in. They're like, nah. I feel
Oh,
weird.
okay, fair enough.
People feel
But you
weird.
said that you sold out of Eldamon like immediately.
Well, it's just because the product's so good. I don't think it had anything to do with
Fair enough.
anything
They were
else.
just like, we don't want to come in. We don't want to listen to you about it. We just want to buy it. I guess
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
that's a seller's like dream.
Yeah, that was. Well, no, the big seller's dream is we had a buyer who came in with a store, a retailer, and he's like, 2 of those, 3 of those, 1 of those. He just bought out of like whatever I had left almost. So I was like, no, that was the dream. I was like, dude, just buy it all.
Living the dream.
That was
Oh.
good. That was nice. I like that one. I like that guy a lot. He bought it all. He bought whatever we had left. Now it's the problem is like it's like you're lucky to get a 10 by 10, and I'll be like, I'll upgrade. They're like, we don't have anything. I'm like, really? Does no one have any booths? It's like, who knew that it was so popular? This is why Gen Con has to leave. Everyone, by the way, no one's going to Gen Con that I spoke to. Everyone said the same thing. They're saying it's too big, and I have to say both Derek and I were like, I hate to say it, kind of agree. It's getting a little too much. It's impossible to get a room. If you're not in a lottery within the first hour, there's no way you get a room. You just don't. It's like, it's impossible. It is absolutely impossible to get a room. That's the first problem. And the second problem is that they're insanely expensive. Like they used to be a couple $100. Now they're like $800 a night. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, I can't spend $10,000 to go to Gen Con. And that's not including the booth. That's just flying there and getting a room and paying for food. It's like, and that's like supposed to be for fun. And it's gotten to the point that it's really getting expensive. And it's very crowded and everything sells out. So it's like we have 100,000 games And the second the thing goes live, they're all sold out, and then you get into nothing, and it's very crowded. But if they move to Vegas, no problems. Vegas can handle it. Vegas can handle 3 cons the size of Gen Con, and Vegas won't even notice it. That's the thing. Like, they would be like, "Oh, are you people here for a convention?" No one won't even notice because it's so massive. Anyhow, let's see. There was one from Birmingham to JFK. All right. From Birmingham, and only an hour from. I don't know where Birmingham is. Is it thought? Vendors. So someone said, did vendors get early housing? Yeah, we get early housing access, but those are for $800 rooms. So we get the access, but we have to pay the price, and it's like, okay, you're across the street. Most vendors don't do that. Most vendors get houses. I know people who literally just find houses and rent them, not through Airbnb. Like, they'll literally find a house or something that they can rent for like a few weeks or a month, just because it's literally cheaper than getting. It's cheaper to rent a house for a month than it is to get a room across the street for a week.
Wow. So it's cheaper to just, like, in the housing market, be like, I want to rent a house in Indianapolis for a month, please.
Yeah. It's cheaper.
And then they're like, yeah, sure. The price is lower than just getting the hotel.
No, definitely. Because it'll be like a few $1,000s. It might be $3,000, $4,000, and you get a whole house.
800 times 4 or 5 is definitely thousands.
Yeah. And especially if you're bringing a booth, how many people do you have to bring? You have to bring need at least 2 or 3 rooms. So
you're right. If you have an entire house, you can bring a lot of people into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's too much. In fact, I was talking to Eric Mona. Eric said one of the main reasons he's staying with Paizo is because he gets access to rooms and Gen Con and all these conventions. And they're free. Otherwise, he'd have to pay, and he couldn't do it because it's too much. And I was like, you know what? Good excuse. That's a good reason. It's a good reason to stay. So
I can't even imagine. Like, I find it hard enough to get to UKGE, and that, I think that's pretty small in comparison to Gen Con. Even if it's big for the UK, but I have to imagine that compared to Gen Con, it's quite small.
Yeah, well, Gen Con is kind of too big. It's fun, but it's really getting too big. Anyhow,
too much of a good thing.
It's too much of a good thing. Although I still haven't been to, what is it? The ones in the UK, the big ones, the massive ones. The you know which one's talking about? The Palm DR, the big massive gaming conventions in London, Essen, and those.
Salute and Essen's Germany, and then Salute is in London.
Because I think Essen, they said they are 9 football fields, and I was like,
oh. Essen's all board games, though. I think, isn't it? Isn't Essen very focused on board games?
Yeah, it's almost all board games. But they just saw that. They said it's like 9 football fields, and they get like 250,000. They get more than 250,000 people. That's like, it's a lot of walking. A lot of Settlers of Catan.
Ooh.
It looks cool, though. I watched the videos. I was like, man, that place looks pretty good. I don't know. If you're going to go all the way overseas just to go to a game convention, it seems like kind of a waste. So we have a question here, because you want to like do other things while you're there. How many new ability options are each element getting in Legends, Mark?
How many new powers? Generally, the elements are going to get powers to help fill in levels where either they need to pick up more options, like 5 and 15, although level 1, because it's level 1, and there were only 2 to start with to make things simpler, as well as new reaction and refresh options, plus a smattering of levels that may have had like weird powers that not necessarily everybody wanted to take because they were for specific builds. And so in the end, it's going to probably be like somewhere around 8 or 9 more, because there were originally 26, I want to say. So it's about a third more powers, but targeted exactly to the place where they need to be. And often they might have a theme that adds a new mini play style to the element, although they might not, depending on what the element. If it's already complex, it probably doesn't need a lot more stuff going in.
Got it. All right. There's your answer. And we actually already have one done. The fire is completely done. So we just have to
Fire is ready. The other ones are not
we
going
just
to
have to
be
do
ready
the other
for a while.
12. That's all.
What?
We only have to do the other 12.
Yeah, they're going to take a while, but Fire is ready so we could get the templates ready.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had to get one done. As I kept bugging Mark because I was like, Mark, we need to do one. He's like, I'll do it. I'm like, let's do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And then after months and months of bugging, he did it. And now it's done. And you might even see it actually in one of the upcoming videos. I don't know. We'll see if someone highlights it in something. What have you been up to, Discourse? We haven't spoken to you in a few weeks. What else are you doing? Anything fun? Playing any games? Playing any mini games?
Eldamon Arena.
Have you played it with someone else yet? Or are you still
I
only
have
doing...
been.
Oh.
I have. And the feedback has been pretty positive.
Oh, really?
People love Eldamon bouncing around, getting attacked and getting pushed around the arena and trying to break open crates and finding out what's inside them and using power-ups to attack one another and getting frozen or charged up with electricity and attacking other Eldamon. People love it. Yeah. It's actually been a real hit. So people have been enjoying it.
Oh my god.
So I've been playing that. But I've been playing a ton of games. I'm playing a lot of games. I've been playing a game called I don't know, I've been playing a lot of war games. I don't know if you'll be too into it, but I guess that it's for the topic. I suppose we should get to it at some stage.
We did talk about it. I mean, it's sort of
kind of talked about whether miniatures games are taking over the world.
We did. We talked about with the printing. I don't think it's taking over. I just think that it's.
Well, you named the episode "Are Miniatures Games Taking Over TTRPGs?" So that's why I asked you if you thought it was or not.
I don't think it's. I think TTRPGs are going less physical and more digital.
Yeah,
and I think mini games are becoming more physical. And they're digital too, but more physical because the opportunity is going to be there to make them more physical in easier ways, if that makes sense.
I think for a lot of people who play miniature war games, they enjoy the tactile feeling of having the model and moving it around the board, but also they enjoy the process of getting the model ready to either display on their table, display on their shelf or play on the table. So they enjoy the building of the model. They enjoy the painting the miniature, And so that's something that can't really be emulated digitally. It just can't be. Whereas you can facilitate play digitally for TTRPGs, you can't really facilitate like painting a model digitally. It just doesn't work without the physical miniature. So I feel with physical miniatures, they're always going to be a physical thing until we're like in VR and like, we're all like hooked up to the machine 24/7 and we don't know what real world looks like. We get like a Wall-E future or something. But until then, we'll be playing war games, I think, on the physical table. And so what that means is it's always going to have a little bit more of a barrier to entry than TTRPGs, right? Because people from the longest time, they've always been able to just buy a book or hope your GM buys a book, or these days, like your GM has like a subscription to like D&D Beyond or whatever. And so you could just play a game with people telling you when to roll dice or when to click the button to roll the dice. With a war game, there's a lot more investment you need to do. You need to buy models. You need to paint them up. And so you're always going to have a smaller audience, I think, for war games compared to TTRPGs. But the counterpoint to that, and I think it's what you were saying, Stephen, is that they need to spend more to play miniature war games. And so therefore, in terms of the industry, there can be a lot more money in war games compared to TTRPGs. And I feel like that's always been the case, that wargamers have always spent more. No matter how big the size of the audience is, they will just spend more. And you'll see it on like Kickstarter and stuff as well. War games will get less backers, but they'll be spending more per person in terms of like how much, what the ceiling is and how much they're willing to spend. And it's just I don't think it'll ever take over TTRPG. I think they're serving very different audiences, though there's a little bit of an overlap there in the middle, that RPG and war games. There's like a little audience there. I'm in there who want a little bit of both. You draw steel fans,
The draw steel fans. The problem with draw steel fans is you need to have 500 minis for like one battle.
And that is not necessarily a negative
well,
for the people who are the overlap of both. They might want to have that.
How do you keep track of, some battles have like 30 goblins you're fighting. Like, no joke. That's some fights. How do you keep track of the hit points for 30 goblins?
Well,
and with the actions. And
they're
in a
minions.
TTRPG.
They're minions, Steven. They die in one hit.
No, they're not. They're not minions. They have like
Sometimes
6 hit.
they are.
Well, not in. A lot of them do not, and it's like some of them have 6 hit points and like or 8, and it's like what a pain. It's just so much. It's
You put a die beside them to track the damage dealt, like beside them on the board. That's how you do it.
Yeah, or you just have the goblins be green D6s instead of miniatures, and the die is their hit points. So they start all facing.
But not
6,
all of them are goblins. Sometimes there's a mixture. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's one of those.
Okay, but if there's 30 and 20 of them are goblins, the 20 that are goblins are green D6s.
Okay, but then what about the
10
5
that aren't
others?
goblins or something else?
Well, what if there are 5 other things? My point is that I think this game was very much designed digitally because it's a lot easier and faster to run digitally.
Are we ripping into Draw Steel specifically now? Oh, Steven.
I don't think he's ripping into it.
I'm not ripping. I'm just saying that's the way it was designed.
I'll come for you.
I don't think Steven thinks it's a bad thing to be designed with digital facing first. In fact, I think if you've seen any of the time Steven's talked about things, he thinks that may be a forward thinking way of like where a lot of things are going. So it's probably a smart strategy to be thinking about digital
strategy. But the problem is the game has to be represented the way it should. It has to be represented correctly. So I'll give you an example. My biggest issue with pre-made adventures back in the day was all the maps, none of them were larger than 30 by 24, because that was the size of the battle maps that Paizo would sell. So you're very restricted, and like you were supposed to have these epic huge encounters and everything was tiny, and it drove me insane. So like for our adventure, I was like, screw it, we're making the maps massive, and too bad, like either draw them or use a VTT. And I have no, I'm not making any excuses. I'm like, they're big maps. So actually, we're in chapter 3, and Mark knows that chapter. And these guys, they love it. They love it because it's a huge cave system, and it is big. I mean, it is a big map, but it works fantastic on a VTT. Now, if I had to draw,
the giant maps are really good though, because there's a lot of things we design for tabletop RPGs that have ranges.
Right.
And
right.
The artificiality of everything having to be inside of tiny little like areas caused an entire meta among people who played the published adventures with the tiny maps, where they were with the overvaluing melee versus ranged, and being like, well, once it's 60 feet of range, then anything beyond that doesn't help you at all, right? Or not very much, because that covers already like 12 of the squares on these maps.
Yeah. And
so running a roll for combat adventure, I think, with the giant maps sometimes helps players have a sudden and greater appreciation for their longer range on certain characters and abilities.
So when I made that, I specifically designed it in a way that we'd have big maps. I thought it was going to be played mostly on VTTs, and it is. So that it would take advantage of the VTT system. Can you play it in person? Yes. I mean, I don't make the maps unwieldy, but they're definitely big, and you'd have to draw lots of areas. And people do that too, so it can be done. People do play it in person, and not all of them are like that. Just a lot of the maps are small, but a lot are also very the dungeons are big. It's like if you go to a dungeon, expect it to be really big. Some of them are massive. If you're going to a quick encounter area, those are going to be small, and that's on purpose. And I designed it that way. The problem I have sometimes with Draw Steel is that I think they have designed it for their VTT, but they're also saying, oh yeah, but you can play it in person and you can have this. But I'm like, not really. Yeah, and not easily. I mean, it's like you can't have what did you design this for? And let's play it that way, because that you're trying to be something for everyone, and it's not.
Well, having played a lot of Draw Steel, like physically, as opposed to virtually, I found that often we just abstracted some of the kind of stuff between encounters. And then when there was an encounter, the loading screen happens, and then you put down the battle map that is specifically for that encounter and kind of sized for that encounter. And kind of, because, I mean, the thing about Draw Steel, and it happens, and if you start to bring in these wargaming elements, it becomes more of a gamified experience where you start being like, okay, now we want some interesting terrain. I know know we said that it was like taking place over here, but now we want a marketplace because it's, you know, there's terrain you can interact with and jump over. And especially with a game like Draw Steel that's designed, we're meant to be able to push people, and that's meant to be really relevant and important. So we kind of played like a halfway house, I guess, where we would just do the encounters in certain locations that were very specific to that, but then otherwise, you know, we wouldn't map out like the entire dungeon. If you were going through the dungeon, it would be like you'd draw it like maybe a corridor, and you go down the corridor, and then you turn to the next map and you draw, you know, like the next room or whatever. So you would do it that way. So that way you could have a bit of space in the areas too. But I take your point about it being like virtual tabletops assist that kind of grid-based combat for sure. Which is why I think it was important for us, Stephen, to get Arena down to a good 16 by 16 size, right? Because it means you could play it like anywhere. You didn't need to have like loads of space physically, so you could play it anywhere.
Well, right. That's the thing. Is like the game is what the game is, and we're not trying to make it anything that it's not. As opposed to, I think, Draw Steel is pretending that it's a standard. I don't know what it's trying to be, actually. Is it a standard TTRPG?
I've heard 4th edition.
Well, it is 4th edition. But I also hear a lot of people say
it's very
it feels
inspired
like a board
by 4th
game.
edition, and it has some new design to really dig into that even more and make it so that if you loved some of the things about 4th edition, you're going to really love Draw Steel, I think, because it sort of 4th edition did some of the things they wanted to do in the 4E design philosophy, but they also like kind of tried to make it feel more like Dungeons and Dragons, whereas Draw Steel didn't have to do that, right? So it's for the big 4E fans or fans of that play style, and I think there's a niche for sure of that. There's a lot of people who love that, Steven. Like,
I'm not saying it's not, but it's like, is it a board game? Is it a minis game? Is it 4E?
To me, actually,
is it TTRPG? It's everything.
It would replace a game like Gloomhaven for me. You know, like to me, it's like an action role-playing game where I can go in and you just roll dice is kind of the sort of impression. I think a lot of war gamers want to play their kind of war games that way, where they just want to go in and like roll dice. It's kind of funny, actually, Steve. You asked, because you were asking me like, what games have I been playing recently? And a lot of the games I've been playing have been cooperative solo war games that are designed to emulate RPGs, but in wargame terms.
Right. How is a game cooperative solo?
Well, okay,
you're co-opting with yourself.
You've got a game like this, right? I know it's back to front, so you can't read it, but it's Heroes, right? Warriors of Athena.
I see it. It's correct.
And
I've never heard of that game.
Warriors of Athena Quest.
I've never
just
heard
came
of that
out,
game.
Stephen. These are review copies, Stephen.
That's why I never heard of them.
Yeah,
I was like, I've never heard of those games.
These are from Osprey Games by Joe McCullough, who does a lot of games. So if you're into like wargaming, you've probably heard of Joe McCullough. He's done quite a lot of different war games. But how this game works is it's a cooperative game. So you're not building your miniatures and building your characters. You actually make characters who are like, it's based on ancient Greek legends. So you're building your characters and they're having certain god bloods, which give them different powers. And then you're going into you're building tables, no grids like this, where you're actually given the terrain, build a little village with like a couple of houses and like some fields. And then there are certain monsters that are going to spawn. And there's little points on the map that you're going to need to move to and like make a test. And if you succeed, you know, you'll get this treasure. And if you fail, maybe this monster will spawn. So it emulates a traditional TTRPG, but with the wargaming kind of constraints of like measuring tape and dice. And there's no GM. It's a GM-less game. And it's designed to be played physically on the table. So it's kind of emulating traditional RPG gameplay. And that
what makes it cooperative solo is the fact that you could play with 4 people that each control one hero, or with one person that controls all 4, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then you would just split up control of the different heroes. There's a lot of different games like this. Some of them do it where you've got like, everyone's got a hero character, then a couple of like hanger-on guys that are kind of like lesser dudes who can kind of help out. And you just go from like scenario to scenario, building new boards and fighting new monsters. And often a lot of these will have linked up campaign play. So the scenario, one story leads to the next one.
Isn't that called a board game?
No. Well, yes and no. I mean, these are all amorphous terms, right? Like there's always going to be a lot of melding between them. But what makes this different, I would suggest, is that it's not a box experience. You've just bought a book. You're going to buy a bunch of miniatures. Then you're going to need to put it on your table and use measuring tape to like move around, which it's Warriors of Athena, But there's a lot of games like this. Silver Bayonet is a really big one, which is a sort of Napoleonic game where vampires and fairies and goblins and stuff have come through. And so you're playing like secret agents during the Napoleonic Wars, trying to hunt down these things, you know. And you might be the Russians, Stephen, and I might be the British, and we might be opposed to one another, but we're kind of both trying to save the world, you know? So we can attack each other, but we also kind of want to fight the monster too at the same time.
The vampire drinks everyone's blood. It doesn't matter if it's Russian blood or British blood. That just determines like whether they've had a lot of lagers or vodka before the vampire drinks the blood.
Determines how drunk the vampire gets. That's a result. But there's a ton of those. There's some Lovecraft games as well. A lot of Lovecraft games. Fear of the Dark, a game called Mythos Hunters. There's a new one that's just come out, or it's in Kickstarter right now, called Cosmic Horror. So this is a genre that has been, especially over the pandemic, it's just slowly been in the background, and I think it's getting bigger and bigger, for sure. But it's interesting because it's kind of coming at RPGs from the wargaming side, whereas traditionally I think we think of RPGs going towards wargaming, you know. So it's like this way they're kind of trying to emulate different elements of the other's style of game, but they're bringing it into their own arena. I find that really fascinating, these edges.
I think fusion games where like different game styles come together are really cool. And they're cool in video games, they're cool in other styles of games too.
Trey Small, that Napoleonic game was called Silver Bayonet.
Oh. I'm like all these new games. Well, I don't like solo games.
Oh, Steven, stick with me, Steven. I gotta tell you about all the games. All of them.
I'm waiting. Give me them all. Give me every one, and I will.
All right, let's start at A then, I suppose.
Okay, let's go.
Actually, struggling to think of a single game.
See, you're like, all of them. How many? I can't think of any.
All zero.
How many? There's so many I can't name them.
Okay. There's Malifaux. That's M, admittedly, but we're just gonna go off with the. There's Malifaux.
Malifaux.
B, the Batman miniatures game.
Malifaux.
Even I've heard of before.
Yeah. There's Stargrave and Frostgrave. There's all the graves.
Well, those I know the graves.
I'll tell you what, actually.
While you're thinking of those, we got a super chat. So that way you're not put on the spot with no time. So Waters Leaf for $2 is wondering, what's the deal with these legendary quests in Eldamon Legends? So I will tell you what the deal with them is. Basically, they work across a wide level range, because we don't know exactly what level you as the GM want to seed in this legendary Eldamon. So they set up like this big and interesting legend about the legendary Eldamon. And Steven, is it okay if I give in broad strokes anything about the dragon Eldamon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So for instance, the legendary dragon Eldamon has a legend about making a pact with an ancient queen and creating a sort of a monarchy under the mountain that was like run on the fire, the dragon fire of the dragon Eldamon that fueled the forges, and that they created like wild and powerful items and then gave to that dragon's horde. But when the whole kingdom was destroyed, now the PCs are going to need to sort of figure out where it was, get there, and there's these different phases. So you have to get to the place where you can access the underground area where the kingdom is, and then you're going to go sort of through the underground. And when you get there you'll have to figure out like who is there now, what has control over it. And it offers like a lower, a medium, and a higher level range, some suggestions. You know, it'll be like, for example, you said it might be something like this could be a young dragon at the lower level range, or like an adult in the medium range, and an ancient dragon in the high range, or something like that. So it gives you enough so that you can run these quests. It's not like some kind of 50-page adventure that's writing every encounter out or anything like that. It is the legend and the quest for you to fit into your game, because we know that you want to, like, if you're a GM for an Eldamon player, it's not all about them. It's not all just about your Eldamon trainer, and you're going to want to incorporate it into your campaign.
Oh, there you go. It's
Looks like the person who asked is very happy. Then said that kind of bonus content to have on hand to feed it to their homebrew games for options.
Yeah,
Hooks.
it's
Excellent.
not-
That's exactly what we thought was going to be the most useful compared to like a super written out, super long adventure. Just having the hook for like what could be a small quest or even out to a mini campaign involved around these Eldamon when you have a unique legendary Eldamon.
it's an outline. It's a very long outline.
Yeah, it's basically what we in the RPG biz might call an expanded outline, which is a very robust and gives you easily enough that if you were planning to run it, you know what to do, but it doesn't tell you everything that you have to do.
There you go. So when do the Adepticon things? Oh, I figured out how they able to leak stuff, by the way. I meant to say that.
Oh, there you go.
It's actually very easy. So it's probably from the booths. So what happens is when they set up the booths, they always have, because they usually have the press release and announcements before the booths are open. So what they'll do is they'll often have stuff on the booths related to what they just announced, because that's what they want to do. So someone might have, now sometimes they'll cover up the booths to make sure that doesn't happen, or someone got in there and like, it's almost the unwritten rule. Like when you walk around, if you're working at a convention and you see stuff, you don't talk about it. It's like, oh, I see. Cause like there was things at Gamma for D&D that was basically talking about their new seasons, but that wasn't, and we were setting up days before the convention even opened. So it was very obvious, like what was there. So you can always tell. So it could be someone snuck in and saw it, and then they can report on it. So
There you go. So
Well,
now that we've
I've
given you some time, Discourse, what are the names of these games for Steven?
oh wait,
Okay, there are none that start with A.
Okay,
I was thinking about there's none that start with A. Oh, there's already been some like images from Adepticon showing some pictures on the Warhammer 40k booth.
You see,
Well,
that's
your
right,
sisters-
and that's
yeah.
how those that happens. I didn't even see that, but that's how it happens, because that always happened in video games. Because like the video games, because they would always have their newest stuff there, and it's always at the booth. The people are really paranoid. They cover their booths, and then you can't even see, so no one can see it. And that would be at video game conventions. They would do that a lot, or they just wouldn't have the monitors on. And then when they turn them on, then you get to see the images. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. So
There is a game, Stephen, that you
Yes.
might be interested in. I don't know if you like Traveler or not, or Mark. You enjoy Traveler.
it's all right.
There is a war game, okay, called 5 Parsecs from Home.
No,
You
I think I have it.
you have 5 Parsecs from Home.
I have so many things.
5 Leagues from the Borderlands.
I have. Wait, let's see. I think I have 5 parsecs from home.
Let's see if he has 5 parsecs.
This
from
guy.
home.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready to be amazed?
I'm not ready.
I'm ready to be amazed. I just didn't know you had a lot of war games too.
Yep. Yeah.
He's got it. He's got 5
Got it.
parsecs from
Yeah,
home. Have you ever
Not-
played it, Steven?
No.
Have you opened it and read it?
No, but I have it. Looks cool.
99.9%, I think, of all game books sit on a shelf.
Well, for me, it's different
They
because
just
I
look
use them
nice.
for reference. So I don't necessarily.
I always read
job.
my game books. I enjoy it. People
I
are
enjoy
always
it. But I don't.
people are always trying to teach me some game. They'd be like, I know how to play this board game. I'll just tell you how. Don't read the book. It doesn't teach it to you. It's bad at teaching it to you. And I'll be like, that makes me want to
So
read
what
it
is
more.
What is 5 parsecs from home?
5 Parsecs from Home is
A solo
I played
adventure
Travel,
war game of
so-
galactic trailblazing. It says.
Yeah. So I played 5 Parsecs from Home a couple of years ago, and then I played Traveler last year at the Happening with Ron Edwards. And I was playing Traveler with him, and I was like, dude, this game's stealing from 5 Parsecs from Home. Obviously, it came out a little bit before, but it's essentially the same experience. You're playing like a person who's traveling from planet to planet, kind of getting into all sorts of stuff. You're looking for contracts to try and make money on bounties. You're maybe doing some jobs to like for a local contact. You like, and it works very similarly, where you literally go from to a planet. You roll on a table to see if you make contact with somebody. You roll to see what kind of contact they are. Then you roll to see what kind of job they give you. Then you roll to see what kind of how much money you'll make from it. Then you go onto a table. You build up a little table. You go like hunt down the bounty, or you are attacked by aliens, or there's like the evil space government like come to get you, or the big ancient evil is awakening on the planet, or a rebellion is occurring, and you roll to see what's happening, and you fight those guys.
You know what this
you
is
fight
called?
those guys, and then you get money and rewards.
It's called a video game. It's called a video game in a book form.
Well, but that's how a lot of emergent RPGs traditionally were, right?
I
You would roll
know.
on tables and you would find out what happened, and you would react to those, and you would play with those, and then your story would be unique.
Look,
because
you're talking
what happened to you.
I grew up on
there's so
Choose
many
Your Own
war-
Adventure. I
But
grew
now
up
war
on that.
games
No,
emulating that.
Well, no, but I did play all the fighting fantasies and all those.
But
So-
why are you saying no, though?
No,
Like,
I feel
everything
like
you said makes sense, but the interjection of in between connecting your sentences being no was weird because they could be doing
because
that.
I went through that phase when and back in the Atari 2600 days where the graphics were so crappy and that my brain was better than any computer. And now I hate to say
What
it.
about Mall Maniacs, Steven? Did that let you have a good
Yes, you know why?
ability to have
Yes.
a unique experience?
Yeah, you know why? Because the Apple II Plus had a full color dot matrix printer that no one else had back in the day. So I used to, because I'm always extra. So all of our printouts for all the game sheets were done in full color. And this is back in 1986. You know how
So
many
to be
people
clear to everyone else, I'm referring to Steven's old, I think, was it Play by Mail
Play by Mail game
Mall
that I had.
Maniacs
Mall
that he
Maniacs.
published back in
That's right.
1986.
Yep. Now think about that. You got full color printouts in 1986. People lost their minds. So I was
Nice.
a little extra.
You don't want anything I produced in 1986 because it wouldn't smell good.
Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. I thought you were more advanced. I thought you were an advanced life form.
yeah,
See, look
I
at
was
this.
but a glint.
This is what I
But a
produced
glint.
in 1986. See that? Full game.
Hell yeah.
Full game.
So, are you trying to say, Stephen, that
Look at that.
today there's no need for any of this, any Mall Maniacs, because they've all been replaced by video games? That this can
No,
effectively
not
be
at
done?
all. But for me, I appreciate these. I'll give you an example. I actually got one for you. How about that? So how about that? You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes.
You too, John. You too, Mark.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm ready.
The Book of
What is it?
Dungeons. Do you know what this
Oh.
is?
No, actually, I don't. I don't know this.
It looks
So-
like it's some kind of a write-in roll style.
It's a write and
game.
roll solo game. So every page there's a different dungeon, and then you basically roll. And the cool thing is you can just if you don't have dice, you just do this, and then in the corner is the die you roll. So you can just use.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
So you don't even
That is
need.
pretty
You can do
cool.
the whole thing just with the book. So yeah, you have a character on the left, and then the sheet, and then the dungeon on the right, and then you roll on the bottom, and then you're always trying to get to the dragon and get out. So you roll, and then as you explore, you fill out the dungeon, and then you do fighting. And there's 100 different dungeons in this book.
Hell yeah, that rocks. But okay, if I may, the thing that I think that
No,
really
I love write and
separates
roll. I love write and roll because that's like
a game that
drawing.
a game that I think separates, say, 5 Parsecs from Home is that you spin a narrative out of it. That
Oh
you,
yeah,
as you,
yeah.
As you roll on the tables, right? You're
Mhm.
a story is forming from these tables as you
Mhm.
kind of create your guy. You're like, oh, I went for a bounty because there's things
Mhm.
that you'll roll for the instability, political instability on the planet, and it will build, and then rebellions will occur, and that changes kind of the tables that you roll on, and you're trying to
Yeah.
like move, and you try to move on and stuff.
But see,
So
that's what it ends up looking
um,
like when you're done.
yeah.
It's called a draw and play adventure book.
there you go. So yeah,
That rocks.
it's a roll and write game, but it's draw and play.
I
so
love
it's,
roll
it's
and
using
write.
the same kind
By
of
the
format.
way,
Mhm.
that's how I came up with the idea for the Elder decks because I was playing
Interesting.
a roll and write game at Gamma, and we were using cards, and they were laminated and drawing on them, and I went, I got it. that's literally how I figured it out, Mark. Because I was
Steven,
like,
what about doing an Eldamon roll and write game
oh my god, I would love that.
where you roll
Oh,
and see like what
that'd be so
Eldamon you're
good.
placing down, and
I love
like
roll and
they're
write.
based on their elements, maybe you get like different points for where they are
I
on
think
your
that would be
tableau.
great. The problem with roll and write's tricky because some roll and writes start playing themselves. Like Hadrian's Wall is a good one. That's a very good roll and write, but after a while, it starts to just play itself because you're like, this does this and this, and it just becomes like an engine, and you're literally just filling out boxes. As opposed to my favorite one of all time is Welcome To, and that is you draw a deck of cards and you have to build a neighborhood, and then you have specific neighborhoods to build, and it's just random enough, but it requires skill, but it's not so random. And if you like never get the card, so you draw a card and then it's numbers 1 through 15, and those are the house numbers, and you have to put them in order. And then some of them, like Christmas, so you're like connect them with Christmas lights, one of those ice cream where you have to have an ice cream truck go across the street and stuff like that. And then you put walls. You either can build fences to build neighborhoods, and each one's worth certain points. You build parks, you can build pools, or you can copy them. But there's a penalty.
I played
for
a game that's very similar to that, but
Really
didn't have
good.
it did not have
Really
the Christmas lights. That was like called Welcome to Your New Home or something like that, where you were
Yeah,
playing
there's a couple
community.
like that. Yeah,
It didn't have the Christmas lights, but yeah, it was where the fun thing was everybody got the same cards.
Yeah, we do the same thing. Yeah, everyone gets the same card.
Everybody
Yes.
gets the same
Oh,
cards,
this is
but
competitive,
you have to
yeah.
decide how you're going to use the cards.
Correct.
You have to play the odds too.
Yes.
Because you don't know if you're going to get higher numbers or lower numbers in certain amounts.
It's a bell curve, so 7 comes up the most. So it's actually known how many. So in this game, when you get a 15,
the one I played is almost exactly the same.
Yeah,
game.
it might be the same
from
game.
the same series, but it's because it just
Maybe.
didn't have Christmas lights and other
well,
things.
that's a variant. So Christmas lights, ice cream cones, those are variants. You
Oh,
don't have
fair
to play
enough.
those.
But the fun thing about it was that I was playing with Linda and her little brother, and Linda's little brother and I did like completely different strategy. And he and I scored within like 1 point of each other. In fact, his tableau was better than mine, but there's certain benefits you get for reaching certain goals
Well, there's
before
lots
other
of
people.
right, yeah. Well,
And
right.
I
You're
reached
the first
every
one.
goal that I reached first. And so his tableau was vastly better. I beat him by 1 point just due to doing certain things first.
Yeah. Well, it was
an interesting game.
I played it. It's on Board Game Arena online, and I think I played it like 500 times at this point. So
whoa,
yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm really good. I play it a lot. There's objectives, and if you either if you fill up your neighborhood or 3 objectives are achieved, then the game ends, and you get more points for getting the objective first. But I've gotten to the point, so I know every objective. Certain objectives are easier than others. So certain strategies are like, okay, it's better to build a big neighborhood and get points that way. Sometimes it's better to go for the objective. Sometimes it's better to go for pools. Sometimes it's like, it's always a little bit. You played enough, I know.
I literally
know
only
the
won
odds.
because I completed all 3 objectives and ended the game. Because if we had actually gone longer,
that's the same
by even one round, his neighborhood was so much better than mine that he would have beaten me by like
that's
a ton of points.
That's the level 2 where I look and I have to do the math to figure out how close everyone is. To figure the problem is that it's virtual, so I literally be playing and I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing great. Oh, it just ended. Crap, because I didn't look at other people's boards because I'm like, crap.
Nobody expected that I was gonna end it by just getting the third getting the third objective so quickly.
So back to that, yes, roll and write games. I love roll and write. I love them. They're so much fun.
I don't think I've ever played one.
Oh,
they're fun. They're fun. And it's an interesting way to use the physicality of the game that's different than other games.
Well, you get to be an artist too. So some roll and writes are you just writing down like words, but another one is what is it? Cartographers. So Cartographers, that's a very popular roll and write game, and it's very easy. You are given a kingdom and you are given cards, and then you have to basically fit the cards. It's like Tetris. You fit the cards in your kingdom, but they're different colors and you have different objectives. And then you get different color pencils. So like you can make, you do the water, then you do the mountains, you do the forest. So everyone does a little differently. So you do the forest, I do little trees, and the mountain, I do little V's, and then the water, you do little waves. So, and then it's really, and then by the end, even if you're not good, you have this beautiful, colorful, like landscape. And you're like, this thing looks like a fucking piece of work of art. And it's how you play the game. And everyone has one, and everyone does it in their own. And you get little monsters, so you draw a little monster in there. It's really fun. It's
you could do that with Eldamon and draw the little Eldamon in it.
Yeah, we could. We could. Those games
Right?
are very, very popular. That company does really
I'm
well.
like, you think I'm joking, but I think
I'm
we
not.
could do it.
I'm not. Well, we have. I don't think we have enough things. Let's just add it to the list. There we go. We'll just- yeah, and you draw goblins in your competitors' maps. Yeah, that's true. Like
That's
there is.
amazing.
Fun.
It's like, yeah, but you do bad things where you take their map and you're like, I'm putting a little monster here, and you break their whole layout.
I
They're
kind of like that because
"No!"
a lot of roll and writes are kind of multiplayer solitaire where you're just doing it on your own. But by virtue of being able to add negative things to other people's board, it adds more interaction to it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You
100%.
can play when they says number of players, they all say 1 to 100. Because as many, you could play 1,000. It doesn't matter because everyone's playing with the same deck. In other words, doing their own thing. That is the only thing. They are almost solo competitive. But Cartographers is one of the only ones I've seen where and you don't have to play it, but you play with the purples. And the purple is that I do bad things to you, but then you do bad things
Oh,
to
I
me.
really like that it's optional too.
It's
'Cause
optional.
I know that there are
A lot of
players
people hate
like
that.
Linda just kind of doesn't
Well,
like
'cause it
malice
messes you
moves
up.
in games. So
And
it's like
and
if
you
we're
feel
playing
like-
Dominion, she'd prefer
Yeah.
like not to have the witch, which doesn't even help you to have the witch. In fact, it's worse than not
I
having
love
it,
the
except for
minions.
the fact that it clogs everybody else's deck up with curses or whatever.
We should play. Oh no, I'm thinking of Citadels. We should play Citadels. I'm fantastic at Citadels, but we need to play with like at least 6 or 7 people. It's not so good with like 3 or 4. You got to play with like I think 9. I think it goes up to 9. 9 people's like very good.
Yeah,
I
there are
love that
games
game.
that are just better with certain numbers than others for sure.
Oh yeah, well that one. Oh, I love that one.
Like Seven Wonders, once you have more than 3 players, I think that it breaks down, in my opinion, even though it's meant to be for
Mhm.
significantly more, because once there is even one person who's not adjacent to you, there's some very strange knock-on effects that can cause you to win or lose the game completely irrelevantly to anything that you were
lose.
doing.
Win or lose.
Win or lose, Stephen.
Yeah. So I taught you something new, Discourse. Roll
did.
and write
Yeah.
games. Look them up. They're cheap too. They're so much fun.
Now there'll be a third channel, Discourse Roll and Writes.
They're
Yes!
very popular. They're really popular. There's so many.
Tell me who the
'cause
big boy is. I bet they're up to something really anti-consumer. Let's see.
the big boy. Well, Galactic. What's it called?
Let's look at the price points, people.
They're pretty.
They're trying to
small.
turn rolling right into a digital experience. It will always
I-
be
well, I do
physical.
all my
It's
roll and
roll
writes
and write,
online.
not roll and type.
Well, ooh, wow, that's good. Roll and write. Hold on. Well, there's like Roll for the Galaxy, Lost Cities, Roll and Write, High City, Coupon, Roll for the Great Old Ones. I'm trying to see. There's a lot of roll. I talked about Roll and Write. There's a
Mhm.
lot.
What company
that
is
came
like
up.
the big dog
Yeah.
of Roll and Write? Not
Who's the
what brand,
Hasbro?
not what the name
Yeah.
of the game, but what is there a company that's like the big
I don't
Roll
think
and
there
Write
is.
company?
I don't
Who's
think
selling their IP to like gambling companies? Come on, like who is it? There's got to be one.
I don't know, Benny. Hold on, I'm trying to find if there's a category on board game.
I asked Google,
Arena.
and Google does not claim that there is like some kind of Roll and
Hmm.
Write monopolist or anything.
Okay. Well, if it's going good, then there's no need for a discourse roll and write channel
fair
yet.
enough.
Then, yeah. Patrick Benjamin's asking, for those who wish to be told how to play, is there any videos on how to play Little Big War? There isn't as it stands. There will be one soon though, so look forward to that. I certainly am. And but the game is super simple. Like it's really easy to play. So if you check out the preview of it on Wargame Vault, you should be able to kind of glean a little bit of how it plays from that. And then I keep the army lists behind the preview, so you have to buy it to get those. But yeah, you should be able to see how it plays from there.
Well, that's it. That's now we know how you're making your millions. Roll and write is your thing.
All right.
Here we go.
Mhm.
Roll and write games. I'm trying to find a list. Well, there's a roll and write. Oh, the official first roll and write ever. Yahtzee. Yahtzee is a roll
Yahtzee?
I mean,
and write.
yes.
I've never played Yahtzee.
Oh my God, Yahtzee's
Just heard
fantastic.
People say Yahtzee or
Oh.
something. I know it's you have like a little cylinder and you shake it, a little
That's
dice cup,
the
and you go Yahtzee.
officially the first one ever.
I don't know. That makes
That's all
sense.
I
It
know.
is. But
It's
I've
it's
always heard
ancient.
of like
It's
what was
ancient.
the German name for it. It's like ganz schön clever or something like
Gunten
that's pretty,
Snookennagen.
that's pretty
thing,
clever.
that's-
It's like a famous roll and write.
Let's see. There's Reiner
It's not the
Knizi's
first, it just is a
Decathlon.
famous one.
One named Quinto, Rolling Japan, Doodle City, Steamroller, Sturdy Rails,
Doodle City.
Roll
Hell yeah.
Through the Ages. I'm looking at those categories. That's a roll and write.
So here's a question, Stephen. Do
Catan,
you
the
think
dice
the roll and
game.
write genre is taking over RPGs?
I don't think so.
No.
Well,
different kind of
no,
experience.
maybe because it already is a roll and write because you're writing and rolling all the time.
I
so.
guess you are, but it's not
Yeah.
really what we would call a roll and write.
No, it's not a
game.
traditional
D&D.
roll and write, but it is
So
roll and write.
D&D is just a spin-off of Yahtzee, is what you're saying.
Yes.
It's just like, yeah.
Now, someone could
Gygax.
create a roll and write. It's possible to create a roll and write TTRPG where the GM is replaced by a roll and write where you roll and just come up with what's next in the dungeon.
There's a Lord of the Rings Journey to Mordor roll and write game. Welcome to Dino World. I'm just looking
That could
up.
be it. Stephen Glicker can invent the world's first roll and write tabletop RPG, where all the mechanics are
Here's actually
entirely
the
done
one.
by roll and write.
So Railroad Inc. That is the big one. That's the big boy because roll and write Railroad Inc. They have different. There's like blue, red. There's like 15 different versions of that game, and they all have slightly different roles. It's very tiny, but you end up drawing little train lines, and people love.
They're beautiful.
That one.
They're like little cigarette boxes.
Yeah.
They're
You're looking at it. Yeah. She's like, oh man, look at this. Oh yeah, they're like cigarette boxes, and then you see it comes with the pens, it comes with the board, and then you just drawing like little, like look at the end. By the end, you have little train tracks and like rivers and boards, and I told you it's fucking competitive, man. And there's so many of them. There's so many Railroad Inks. I'm looking this one up. That one's a big one. And they're tiny. And they're cheap. They're like $20.
They have some epic board sets. How big is that? How big
I
are
don't
they?
know. I'm looking at epic and
9 by
giant
9 and
boards.
11 by 11.
Yeah. That's a big one. They have the collector's edition. Yeah, I'm looking here, there's a ton. So that's the king. That's if you're looking for a king, the Kingdom Roll and Rights. Or Yahtzee. There's triple Yahtzee. I'm trying to see if there's any really good ones. Does anyone have any in the chat? Once Upon a Cat. Oh, Welcome To. Yeah, that's my favorite one. I love Welcome To.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm looking at a list. So on Board Game Geek, people do lists. And someone, of course, I was just looking for it. I found a list of every roll and write I can find. And it's like 500 he has listed here. So
I always appreciate the
I've
Board
never
Game
heard
Geek
of any
lists.
of these. Yeah, so many. I've never heard of 90% of these. Torpedo dice. There's one here called Yay. There we go. What's it called?
Torpedo dice, you
Yay.
roll and write, and you launch torpedoes at where you roll. I
There's
guess
one called Space Worm. You're like building a worm. Kind of like that.
a giant space worm. There
Yeah,
you
you're
go.
literally building a giant space worm. See, that's the thing. You could do all this crazy stuff with all these games. Now she's like rethinking this. Well, I was thinking that you would also want to draw on the board during Eldamon Eldamon Arena. That you would
You
have
might
things.
need to if you're placing boomberries
Yeah,
down
you
on
have
it.
to. You have to.
Or you could get little miniatures.
True,
Yeah.
boomberry miniatures.
Little chests as STLs and little
Mhm.
I could see that too.
little crates and
Mhm.
yeah, maybe maybe if there's a wood Eldamon pack, there could be a bunch of different terrain pieces
Yeah,
with them that you
we'll
could
look at
print
that.
off at home. Yeah,
Look at that.
could be kind of cool. Couldn't it, Steve? And
I,
nice
I
little
like
3D
both of
print
those.
star.
I like
Yeah.
having both those solutions. So if you don't want to, if you rather just write it on with dry erase or wet erase, you do that. And if you want, and you've got a 3D printer and you're excited, then you make the special 3D terrain versions of these
Here we go.
boomberry bushes.
Manchester
Hell yeah.
United Star Player Dice Game Roll and Write. There you go. Manchester United has their own Roll and Write game. Did you know
That
that?
just tells you, right?
Must be popular. Must be popular.
They don't have their own war game. It's not a Manchester United war game.
Yeah.
Well,
What was the baseball team that had
Football.
that TTRPG that we saw that one time, Steven? Was
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Kansas City. Not Chiefs.
There you
Kansas
go.
City
So-
Royals.
Maybe
They did a 5th edition expansion adventure just based on D&D
it seemed
and
like
baseball.
something like Eldritch Horrors were coming
And they
to
gave
the
it
baseball
out,
game.
and they gave it out as a giveaway at the stadium. And I was like, oh my God, it looked kind of crappy, but it looked cool. I was like, just for them to do that, I was like, whoever's in charge must be a geek.
Do you play like the pitcher class, or like is there?
I don't know.
We don't know.
It was very little info on it. It was
We
like a
looked
picture.
up whatever I could read, and then Stephen and Derek were shocked that I could read the very small text that was on it, but it did not tell us this information.
Kansas City D&D game. I could probably
Maybe people know more
now.
by now because they've gotten it out.
Kansas City
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's hit the mainstream now, so it'll be out there in the cultural milieu. Everyone's talking about it. Yeah.
Kansas City baseball. Let's see, Royals. Here we go. Tabletop RPG night. That's what it was. It was on September 17th, 2025. And there is a video of them playing it with the Kansas.
There you
well,
go.
that was the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. Here, I'll
Wait, the Kansas City Chiefs played
that's a football game. Yeah, they played
a
D&D.
football one, not a baseball one. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's see. Oh, it was on Critical Role actually did this. Some of this. Huh. I'm trying to find here. I can do the link. This is literally all we can find on it, and I couldn't find anything else other than this one link. And there's very little we have. other
Wait,
than
I'm
this.
seeing I see a Royals one. I see the one.
Yeah, no,
at
there's
least-
two. There's two.
Oh, there's a Chiefs and a Royals.
Yes,
okay.
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. We talked about the Royals one, I
Right,
think.
the Royals TTRPG eBay. I want to see. People definitely put that on eBay.
In
Yeah,
a
for
world
sure.
of cunning opponents, treacherous enemies, and unknown terrors, peril lurks around every base. I love it. I love it.
I know. Royals TTRPG. Let's see if it's on eBay. God, it's not even on eBay. Wow.
Wow.
It's a collector's item, Steven.
They're gonna wait
Only for the
until
elite.
it's way later, and then
No,
they'll sell it
everything
on
goes
eBay.
on because they have so many giveaways at baseball games. I know people. I've been with people. They go to the game and then they literally go on their phone and sell it while they're there, and they sell it before they leave the stadium because it's very hard. I used to be able to go. Unfortunately, now the Mets have gotten so popular. I used to go to every single game, and I would be able to get the giveaway because they only have 15,000, and they only give it to the first 15,000 people. And I didn't get a single giveaway last year because the Mets were so popular, and I was pretty pissed. I was actually starting to get mad. I'm like, damn it, man! How the hell am I not getting giveaways? And I refused to go on eBay and buy a giveaway for $100 when I should have gotten it at the game. So, it's so ridiculous. Anyhow, Tales from Kaufman Keep. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's Tales from. Oh, do you see it? Tales from, because that's the name of the stadium, Kaufman's Keep. That's the name of it. Are people selling it? If someone has the link, let me know because I'm going to buy that.
With their stadium is called Kaufman's Keep.
Mm-hmm.
That is very D&D. Adjacent. Like I get why they would.
Oh,
Go
here
all
we
in
go.
on the
Royals
D&D.
TTRPG Tales from Kaufman Keep and Royals Dice Bag and Dice.
There you go.
Sold out. Oh man. Someone wants to get me something. I will. You will literally be my best friend if I can get a copy of this thing. Sold out. Yeah, everyone has it, man. It's sold out everywhere. Ugh.
Waters Lethe says, I think the key takeaway of this whole stream is that General Rango needs a nerf. If you think that General Rango is OP, then you should see Capri, the Ankrub. Because
Ankrub
that
is
guy's OP.
that actually is according to Derek, Ankrub is OP in D&D and Pathfinder. He said he's the most OP one. We have not found one yet, so I have not seen one. Oh, I can't find it. I'm looking Tales from Kaufman's Keep everywhere. Ugh. How is it that I can't find? What is wrong with this world that it can't be found? Anyhow.
Oh, what a world! What a world!
No, I'm so mad. I mean, come on, please, really? Why can't Oh, NASA put out a book, a free D&D
Yeah,
adventure.
remember when NASA
Yeah.
put that out? I remember that.
Lost Universe. It has 1 star.
Yeah.
I guess it's not very good.
It what?
It has 1
yeah.
star. It's not like it wasn't
Yeah.
very good. And then we have Wendy's. Of course, they're one that they put out. Feast of Legends. That you can find online. That looked amazing. They put way too much work into that. The Order
Clearly
of
a big fan of D&D.
the, order of
Yeah,
the
it'll be-
chicken. You can literally
most
order
surprising
of the
one to
spicy
me-
chicken sandwich.
Was not even that. It wasn't the KFC dating simulator, but it was actually, I think, the time that Old Spice made not a D&D but a Pathfinder supplement. But they didn't include the OGL correctly, so it caused problems.
This is so great. You have the order. Oh my God. I got it. All right. This is out of print, so I'm going to post the link. All right. And then we'll finish up. All right. Check this one out. Everyone check this out. This is the Wendy's role-playing game where we have the order of the chicken, the art of the chicken with the order of the chicken sandwich. You have order of the home-style chicken sandwich, order of the grilled, the ranch, and the chicken nuggets. And that is the best image I've ever seen because it is a chest full of chicken nuggets. You have order of the beef, you have the order of the baconator, the junior bacon cheeseburger, Dave's double, and the double stack. I love it. You have the order of the sides. So you have the order of the frosty, the French fries, the baconator fries,
Are these nightly orders?
the chili. There's the classes and the baked potato, and those are the classes. So you could be a chicken, a beef, or bacon, or it's a full game. I just put the list. Oh, they even have order of the frosty, order of the spicy chicken sandwich, the baconator
Ooh.
fries, the grilled
Is
chicken
spicy
sandwich.
and frosty like super effective against each other because one is hot and one is cold?
Well, considering the rules are 20 pages, I don't think so. I don't think they get into that.
Too bad.
And then there's the
There's
adventure, which is Rise from the Deep Freeze, where you go through a campaign of fighting the Queen of Frosty, it looks like. That is, oh, you got to go through the
Wait,
French.
but one of the characters is Order of the Frosty.
I know.
Are they like rebels against their own queen?
There's a French fry forest. Oh my God, I got to run this.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going.
It's long. I mean, they put this out. Trouble at Frosty Canyon Village. Then there's lighting of the Bacon Beacon, where you got to light the Bacon Beacon. Then there's the Ice Jester's Playhouse. Oh my God, this is amazing.
There's
oh my,
Nuggeton. Nuggeton.
Then there's Biggie Vale, because there's the Biggie, so you can up 6 scale your stuff. Then there's the Deep Freeze, and then that's where you go, and you go down the well, let's say, into the sub basement below the frozen lake, and then the Ice Jester's room, and then you have to beat Frostatina. Oh my God, this is, and they even yes, you could continue the venture by going to Nuggeton. And it looks like the buildings and lakes are made out of nuggets or look like nuggets. Costa della Spicy. Mark, I think I know what our April Fool's is. I'm literally just linking to this. I don't even need to do anything for April Fool's this year. This is so great. This is making us, I think we look like amateurs compared to this. This is
very high effort.
It's 100 pages. Oh my God. All right. If anyone has this, you win. You win life if you have this.
I love that there is the Beef Bandit as an enemy, and then there is Beef Bandit buffed.
The Beef Bandit
as a separate
buffed.
enemy. Yeah, he's just stronger. He's a better Beef Bandit.
It's a higher level Beef Bandit. The Beef Bandit buffed.
Can you put this in Draw Steel? This would be so crazy.
Wendy's Draw Steel.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this looks. The sad part is the layout for this fake adventure is better than 90% of the layouts I've seen from professional TTRPG products. This layout.
Well,
is
I mean, Wendy's
fantastic.
has a lot of money, so you would hope that they would want to get someone who really knew what they were doing.
Who wrote it?
Not really. They're not.
Wendy's does not have a lot of money.
No, God, no. They're actually barely in business. Yeah, they're doing really badly.
Okay, but even when you're a big company and you're doing really badly, you still have a lot of money. You just also owe a lot of money, right?
Well, yeah, but they spent. It doesn't say who wrote it. I'm trying to see it. It's a rule book and campaign. It doesn't say anyone. You see?
Maybe they
Yeah.
didn't get authorship credit because that was just part of their job at Wendy's. It's possible.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
RPG guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He writes all the RPGs.
What do you do? I'm the chef. What do you do? I'm the RPG guy
I'm the RPG author for Wendy's.
for Wendy's.
Yeah, I do the supplements.
It's actually pretty cool. Everything has 5 levels. They have a baked potato with a wizard.
Maybe
hat.
they built a robot Dave Thomas who does all the RPGs.
That's actually why they failed, because they tied the entire brand into Dave Thomas, and then he died, and they've never been able to recover since, because that is always a problem. That's what happened to Subway too. Subway also tied their whole thing into Jared, and then he turned out to be a sex offender, and they never recovered from that. So very careful. You got to be very careful when you do that.
I think it's important to note that in this RPG, you get buffs for what you're eating in real life.
Oh my God.
So if you're eating a Wendy's cheeseburger, you get +1 strength. So they're gonna monetize you.
It's
a microtransaction.
This is
Eat to win. It's not just just pay to win. It's also eat to win. A very American concept.
I got it.
And it's not healthy. None of it is healthy. It is cheeseburgers and French fries. And if you're eating from anywhere else, you get debuffs. So you actively get debuffs if you're eating from somewhere else.
Wow,
If I eat 12 Wendy's cheeseburgers, do I get +12 strength? Or is it just one for...
I think it's while you're eating, you get the additional bonus. So you sit over it.
Too bad.
for a
You have to
while.
eat one very slowly.
Yeah.
Wait, this was played by Critical Role? There was a
I have to
playthrough of
imagine that money changed hands somewhere.
No, that's they said.
Well, not
this.
necessarily.
Wendy's deserve better. A retrospective look at Feast of Legends RPG. And let's see. Well, it came out in 2019. Now, this was the before times, before COVID. But actually, they have a Gomes Stu did a completely serious review of Wendy's Tabletop RPG.
Yeah, there's a lot of references to like Twitter and that kind of like era of conversing. I guess this was like the height of like the Wendy's meme, right? So I guess they were sort of trying to capitalize on that.
It's just so fun. They're like, it's like, as much as I'd like to go into depth about the story, the progression, and the content, I honestly don't think the my remaining brain cells are able to comprehend the sheer number of memes and references in this book. And it is beyond. They said it's not entirely bad, but it's not entirely good either, according to this rules. It's like, oh, Crimson Halberd, that game made by Wendy's. Yeah, I heard it's really good, and they're just making fun of it too. This does. I mean, the quality is insanely good. Oh man, once again, I can't find it either. But there are some videos of people playing it.
Wow.
All right. Well, I guess it's not rolling right, but there's Wendy's RPGs and the Kaufman RPG. There we go. The Royals. So there's a long Reddit post about what went into wrong with Critical Role and Wendy's. There we go. I didn't even know Critical Role played the Wendy's RPG. There you go. That's how well that money was spent. So
must be really big fans.
Must have been really successful because I heard all about it. I'll never forget where I was when I heard about Critical Role playing Wendy's.
You should reach out to Wendy's, Steve, and see if they'll sponsor a Battlezoo Eldamon Arena.
You know, the scary
battle
thing
map.
is you say that, except Mark knows me very well, and if there's anyone
There's
who
like
could
a
do
non-zero chance that they would want to have
Well, that's the thing.
an Eldamon Arena battle map that uses the map of the town from this Wendy's RPG that
there's
was
a
previously
non-zero
existed.
chance that I would
Or
I would reach
inside of
out.
Wendy's.
I'm not
Like,
saying it's a high chance. I'm just saying it's not zero.
I'm saying there's actually a non-zero
know-
chance that I would reach out and find the right person and even have talks to them about this. So I'm
Hey.
very good at that.
It's like my mom always says, you don't ask, you don't get, Stephen. So, you know.
No, Steven's very good
What?
at following your mom's advice.
I'm the one. I literally. That's all I do is ask. In fact, the people are annoyed because I ask too much. That's all I do. So you're saying there's a chance. That's right. There is a chance.
See, that's why it's hard for me, Steven. I don't want people to be annoyed at me, so I don't ask enough.
Oh God! Everyone
And you
hates,
ask too much,
hates my
and some
guts.
people get annoyed with you,
Oh,
but then
everyone
you
hates
also
me.
get the things done. And
Yeah,
that's
but
really
I get.
important.
That's what my brother said to me. He's like, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "You know what I do, Danny? I get shit done. That is what I do for a living. that is the definition of my job." Mark can back that up.
I can back it up. What's his short and snappy definition of his job? He makes things.
He's a costume designer for Hollywood.
Oh yeah, but that's just like the name of the job.
Well, no, because
he forced you to describe the job in terms of
no, because he couldn't figure out because when I would do like websites, this is back when I was like just doing web, because I'm doing websites and CD-ROMs and interactive, because we do anything digital. That's back in the early 2000s when it was like the Wild West, and we were doing like everything. You know, now it's a little more centralized, but we were doing like flash games. We were doing kiosks, museums, websites, you name it, anything interactive we were doing. A lot of conferences, we would do trade shows, and it's like, what the hell do you do? And I was like, I get shit done. That's what I do.
You need a little bit of that. Yeah.
It's more than a little. That's my whole job. That still is my job. That is literally all I do. I get shit done. All right. With that, I didn't realize
Time to
it's
get
time.
shit done,
I know.
Steven.
I'm not going away again. I'm never around. I'm so
well.
annoyed.
When you're back, let's get some of that stuff done we were talking about before. But enjoy your time in Pittsburgh.
I know. I'm going to lovely. Well, tomorrow I'm going to the Met game because it's home opener.
Maybe you'll get the giveaway this time.
Well, the giveaway is not great on the first day. It's just a magnetic schedule usually. It's just a schedule.
That's not very good at all. But
not that great.
If you get it, will it make you happy? If you keep not getting it, are you going to be like
I'll tell you the worst one.
when his name gets guessed and he just jumps up and down and stubs his toe and is like defeated?
The worst one was we were online and they were giving away a free jersey. And I'm online and they're giving them away. And I'm like, yes, I'm finally going to get something. We're finally getting a giveaway. And then they give it to the people, and then they give it to the woman in front of me. And then I go up, they're like, we just ran out. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, you run out. So if I spend 1 second more running to get, if I didn't delay for like 5 seconds, I would have been one ahead and gotten the last jersey.
That's correct.
And I'm like, really? Like, you don't have one like in the back or something? Like no, they were out. I was like, God damn it. And that was a good price. That's
the opposite of your usual Glicker luck to be the bad luck. You were the first person who didn't get it.
I know, that was the karma getting back to me. And well, it has to balance out somewhere. So if I'm going to get it to balance out somewhere, it's okay. It's okay. That's and I get to the games really early. I get to the games like an hour and a half early, and it still isn't early enough. That's the problem. It's the Mets, when they weren't so popular, it was easy to get stuff. Now they're super duper crazy popular. Now the games are sold out. It's impossible to find parking and everything is given away. So I don't know. You can't win. When no one liked them, it sucked. Now everyone likes them. It sucks. So that's my life. Anyhow.
That's the world. That's the world we live in.
The world we live in. All right. Discourse is going to stay up a little bit longer looking for some Adepticon news because she can't wait. And then she has to do her video. That's what she's going to wait. Yep. She's like ready to do her video.
Got to do my job, I guess.
All right.
That's right.
Well, then, everyone, take care. And until next time, if you want to battle the zoo, possibly in an Eldamon Arena, you have to roll for combat.
Yeah.
Eldamon, the hit D&D and Pathfinder supplement that brings Pokemon-style gameplay to your tabletop games, is finally getting a massive update. Roll for Combat, the company that brought you Battlezoo, Eldamon, as well as countless other supplements for your tabletop role-playing games, has just announced Eldamon Legends, which is a fantastic Kickstarter that you can back now to bring all sorts of new Eldamon, elemental powers, and items to your worlds. If you're new here, Eldamon are elemental spirits that take on the form of creatures, which you and your party can make alliances and travel the world with. You can train them, evolve them into more powerful forms, and pit them in battles against other Eldamon. Or you yourself could become an elemental avatar and wield powers of darkness, or music, or fire. And the brand new Eldamon Legends Kickstarter brings you a bunch of new items that you and your party can equip, over 136 more Eldamon to populate your world with, and brand new legendary Eldamon to track down. Plus, the Kickstarter has all sorts of goodies available for its backers, including special dice, deluxe covers for the original Eldamon series, and more. So be sure to check out the Eldamon Legends Kickstarter today to begin harnessing the elements for yourself.